some reason it was on the wall. There you go.
Oh, my right ear just started ringing really aggressively.
You can sense electrical signal.
Maybe I can.
Maybe you can.
Am I an X-Men? That's cool.
I certainly hope.
The lighting is a little dicey, y'all, because remember my ring light's broken. There's another one on the way. So we're like heavily backlit right now because of daylight, which we cannot control.
Play around a bit with this situation.
Yeah, we might just, there's some aesthetic issues that we need to address here, so just, stand by.
Yeah.
How is everybody? How's everything going?
Ooh, baby. You can set that to low as well.
Where do we
Here, just tuck it right there in the middle there.
in the center?
You can just center.
Click right. How do you adjust? Oh,
Is that?
I don't know that it's any better. It might even be worse. Is this better or worse? It's definitely
I
reflecting
can
on
see it in my glasses now, so there's that.
Well, that might not be good. Wait, here's a trick that I do sometimes.
Oh, for like a diffuse.
We have tape. Is there tape? Hey, thank you.
Get a grip. Just subscribed. Thanks.
Thanks for helping me pay for my parking. We're having a bit of a struggle, you guys.
Some ASMR going on here.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you want some tape or something? Or
well, I did just say, do you guys have tape? And then just...
I did not hear you say
Oh,
that
I'm sorry.
clearly.
I definitely did. I mean, this is pseudo working.
Would you like that?
I like tape. It's sticky. Hi.
Hello.
It's definitely a stream. Yeah, if things are chaotic at the beginning, is it a stream? Can you turn it back up so that we have it right diffuse? Clickety clack. Oh yeah, look at this. You guys, it's called innovation. Look it up.
Innovation for the future. I really wish you guys could see the setup that we currently have.
They can. There's a camera. Look at this. It's quite good. So this is what happens when you're a professional.
Do a little tilty baby.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's better.
Yeah, I agree.
It's gonna have to do.
That's the best we have right now.
So how is everybody? Real streamers. Yeah, real streamers experiencing real struggles. All right?
I can't. Oh my god.
So yeah, we're talking about parasocial relationships today.
Mm-hmm.
So basically all of our relationships with y'all, except for Sean, who is your real life husband.
Well, also some of our actual friends that come to the stream.
Yeah. I don't, oh well.
Dougie is in there too.
Yeah, you know what, that's very true. And Doug is my real world friend.
How many years now?
9.
Oh,
9.
no.
We're almost at our...
Long time.
What's 10? Pearl? No, that's 35. That's Carly and I are at our Pearl.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I don't
Ooh,
know.
babe.
You can look that up, actually.
Yeah.
How many
This is important information, y'all.
year anniversary?
Do we have a browser already open?
No, I don't think we do.
Right click. New private window.
Oh.
I'm a streamer, guys. Just don't even worry about it. Anniversary years.
This is very delayed.
Oh,
All of a sudden.
Okay, what's 10? 10 years. Tin or aluminum.
Interesting.
You're going to be getting a big old can of soup. Yeah. Why is it? Oh, it's because this is not what we're supposed to be looking at. We're supposed to be looking at this. Yeah. That's why.
I see.
Because I tried to click the thing. Anyways, welcome to Chaos.
Yeah.
We're here.
Welcome back to Chaos Central, aka the sewer.
Yeah.
I'm with Layla Shell
and Neuralicia.
and Neuralicia.
Yeah. It's Vulgar Science, y'all. We're back. And I'm just trying to find my notes. Here they are. I was already on that page. What's this? Real streamers. Hi Muse. Hi Woosaw. Yeah, hi Woosaw. I don't know that I know Woosaw. Hi. If you haven't been here before. It doesn't seem you're a first time chatter, but I also, it's a pretty small crew in here, so we usually recognize some names. So hi, welcome back. You're here. I've added emotes, Rat 1, for a limited time only. Yeah, so we got more BTTV thingamajigs. The long rat.
Yeah, the long rat. Yeah, unfortunately we don't get to see it. All I see is Rat 1.
Yeah, I like that though. We could talk about any type of rats. Yeah.
Rat R.
So, yeah, parasocial relationships is very meta that we're talking about that
100%.
on stream.
I wanted to put that in my post in the Discord.
Yeah.
I was like, meta much.
Talking about, thinking about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, while I was doing my research on this, I think one of the most interesting things I found was that parasocial relationships become the moment you meet the person, immediately transition to just a normal social relationship.
That's not true from what I did my research
Really?
on. It's about, here's the one thing. I think that there's not a mutually agreed upon definition of it. But from what I was listening to, there's a researcher named Shaba that's, she was the one whose definition I followed and was in this Psy Guy's podcast. Mm-hmm. And her definition was based on mutuality. So it's usually relatively unidirectional kind of thing.
Yes,
so
100%.
I can see where like meeting the person would be like a cutoff
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, especially with the traditional, back when it was just TV and we didn't have internet relationships and stuff. But, like I was talking to my dad about this, and he met the astronaut Chris Hadfield. He's like the Canadian treasure, the Canadian hero. That's what my dad calls him.
Of course.
Right? And he's like, do I have a parasocial relationship with him because I admire him? And I'm like, yeah, I guess, technically.
Seriously.
But he has met him, but I would still call it a parasocial relationship, you know?
Yeah, I think it requires the other person to, actually know who you are.
Yeah, to be a real relationship, there has to be some reciprocity, I think, right? Yeah. I wish I was there. I have a very interesting story about something that happened at TwitchCon. Well, can you share it in chat, or is that I wish you were there so that you could spill some tea to us, your personal, real life, non-parasocial friends?
If it's too complicated, type out. We understand.
Yeah, that's true. I was here only once after Science Raid. I miss a lot of streams because of time zone and streaming hours. Oh, cool. Well, thank you. We love Science around here. Great, wonderful peeps over there. I have a Science sticker that's been stuck since the last Vulgar Science.
So freaking cute.
Guitar Antonia, and I have another one on the way because I won a raffle. I have their little amoeba thing, Kevin, playing the drums, because they have this whole band.
The Science band.
It's so cool. Anyways, I could, but it's also just a lot to type. Yeah, I mean, then don't. You do you. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I guess the definition that most people go with is that it's kind of a one-directional, non-reciprocal relationship with anybody, and not just real people. That's the cool part for me, is you can have a parasocial relationship with a fucking character. Like Joffrey Baratheon, people viscerally hate him, and that even bleeds into a parasocial relationship with the actor. That guy, didn't he give up acting because everyone hated him so bad?
Wait,
and he's
really?
of the Gleason dynasty too, which are amazing actors, right? Anyways, but that usually evokes a visceral reaction, or if when one of the dragons on Game of Thrones died, I full-blown cried. I had a parasocial relationship with a dragon, And you can, it's true, right?
100%.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. And I don't know how many people will have seen this, but there was an IKEA ad many years ago where there was a lamp that was put out on the street corner, and it was, see, look at your face. It's
because of the Pixar lamp. We all have such a strong relationship with that lamp.
I actually think this might kind of be right around that date, so maybe they were feeding off each other or something like that, because it was a long time ago. It was probably one of the first times I had even heard of IKEA. And anyway, so there's this lamp out in the street, and it's raining, and they take a video of a happy family inside, having dinner, and then the lamp is just out there all and he still works and stuff like that. And then the tagline is do you feel sorry for this lamp? And they're it's just a fucking lamp, basically, at the end. And they're you can replace it for $10 at IKEA.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it actually makes me emotional.
It's so fucked up.
Right? Anyways, so yeah, you can love lamp. People like to say that because of, there's a movie, people like to say, I love lamp. Millennials like to say that, I think.
Really?
Essentially, the short of it is my friend 9 is a partnered streamer on Twitch and has a decent. Yeah. People at church going fully parasocial. What do you mean, people at church? Like with Jesus, you have parasocial. I mean, I think they would think that it's reciprocal.
Is that a Rotomania to say that Jesus loves me?
I mean, because it depends who you ask. Come on, Turkey. We all be thinking we close to God,
but he is not our friend.
I mean, that's clear. The world's on fire, literally.
Yeah. He's our parent, not our friend.
Yeah. Sad. I bought them merch and everything. You bought church merch? Like, what, a rosary? How do you buy merch at church?
A Bible?
A Bible?
Church merch.
How do you buy church merch?
I can't. That's
I mean,
amazing.
actually, I did buy, like, a pretty cool rosary one time. They just look cool. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
And, like, whatever, if you guys are Christian or Catholic or whatever, then, like, go on with your bad self.
Most religions of, like, the 3-book religions, so like Judaism, they all have
Abrahamic.
Abrahamic. They have some variety of like a prayer bead situation. I know that.
Well, so do the Eastern religions too, because like monks have the little thing with the tassel, right? Red beads tassel, or is that Hindu?
I'm not
Don't
sure
know.
actually.
But anyways,
I'm
yeah.
not 100%
Sorry,
sure.
you were saying though about in Islam or something.
Yeah, I think my grandmother had some variety of that. I remember that in my parents' closet, just chilling with our Quran.
There's like some like paraphernalia that like surrounds stuff. There's usually a book, a cup, some beads.
You're just naming fucking common objects. These are the first words that people learn in a language. But a cup, some beads.
Dog, cat, book, cup, beads. That's how it goes. You know, it's
Jesus.
mom, dad, yeah, Jesus. What's the other guy's name for Islam?
Muhammad?
Yeah, that's the one.
That one?
I was like, Abdullah Muhammad. I couldn't get to it. Guys, I'm slow today. I haven't
Muhammad
slept very
is the
well.
most common first name in the world.
I know.
That's the one you couldn't think of.
Thanks, Superbad, for the little factoid. That's where I learned that from real life.
From Big Bang Theory. Actually.
Oh, really? I learned it from
racism.
Superbad. Yeah, church merch. Y'all got any lamps? Oh my god. So, y'all got any lamps? The like moth memes is one of my favorite meme formats.
Oh, like the
it's just a
burned up
grainy
moth?
picture of a moth,
Yeah.
and it's like all glowy-eyed, and it's like, you got any lamps? Anyways, I really like that.
Those are so scary, honestly. I hate those.
I think they're really funny. He had someone get a little too personal and made that person very uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, honestly,
yeah,
that's just kind of life sometimes too. I got catcalled so aggressively today while I was on the phone with my dad that I was like, it made my heart race in like broad daylight in like nice area of town. And the guy was like halfway hanging out of his car and like leering at me, and I didn't hear what he said because I had my headphones in because I was talking to my dad. But like, it's broad daylight at like commute time. I don't know what I'm
Rush
talking.
hour?
Yeah, that's the one. Anyway, so there's lots of cars on the road. Like, I'm obviously safe. I have my dog with me. There's other people walking their dogs around me, but it was still aggro enough that like my heart was racing. So that's fun.
I don't think I've ever actually been catcalled like properly in this city. I have had somebody come up to my unfortunately open car window and like be a little creepy with me, but like I went to Long Beach for literally less than I was there for less than 24 hours,
and they're like,
I got catcalled
Mamacita
twice. And in Montreal, it's essentially never happened.
Maybe it happens in French and we just don't know.
Oh, maybe.
They're like, Esticoles tabarnak, ton
I always expected to be the
col."
construction workers and not a one. I'm always like very stressed when I walk by them.
Yeah, could be. Church merch. The Oratory has a gift shop. That's true. I mean, when I was in Rome, they had like all kinds of merch. They had this like rubber beads rosary that was like.
I really did not know where you were going with that sentence for a second.
Yeah,
I was like rubber chicken, rubber what?
Can you imagine? I would be way more interested in church merch if there was rubber chickens.
It's just like a rubber chicken with a rosary around.
Oh, I was thinking of rosary made of rubber chickens.
Oh, sick!
They all honk though.
Me all honk. Honk for Jesus.
Honk. That's such a good idea. Can you know.
We should do that
like,
for our merch.
Honk if you love us.
Honk if you love Vulgar Science.
Yeah. I'm in. I'm in.
Sick, bro.
Oh, that's really funny. I find rubber chickens too funny. That's just really good content. No notes. No notes.
No notes.
10 out of 10 immediately.
0 notes.
Oh man, got us all-time bestseller. Hot One and AC. Still waiting for the sequel trilogy. I like the plot twist where they brought the protagonist back. These church jokes are great. I love how we've got here already. This is just really
just straight up last week.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it was especially awkward because this person thought they had a relationship with this person, which it clearly wasn't.
Zoink, Scoob.
Yeah. Man, I've been really on the zoinks and the jinkies lately. Love that nomenclature.
Yeah, I've been saying zoinks for I don't know,
Yeah.
a few months now.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
like
Maybe
it.
that's where I picked it up is from you.
Yeah. And then I think you added jinkies as like, because the first time you ever said zoinks, you were like, jinkies.
I mean, we gotta stay on
Yeah.
theme within the brand, you know?
100%, exactly.
Imagine procrastinating for 2 millennia. Legendary. But yeah, like God is like J.R.R. Martin just like not gonna drop the final volume of like the saga that is life.
Sorry, J.R.R. Martin.
What's that? What's his name? What is it? What is it? Because that's it, right?
No, it's George R.R. Martin. You went J.R.R. Tolkien and George R.R. Martin. And
I can't be the first person to do that.
I'm sure you're not, actually. But you were just like, fantasy genres, they're all the same thing.
I've read 0 of them, so... Oh, no, wait, I've read The Hobbit. I've read The Hobbit.
Same. Honestly, Lord of the Rings is just, it's a lot. It's too... I've tried reading The Fellowship, and then I think I fell asleep, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah. My ex used to read the Book of the Dragon or whatever, the one that it's like a side
The
quill.
House of the Dragon book?
Yeah, like the book that the show is
Yeah,
based
I
on.
actually just read it after, because I needed to know what was going to happen in the
Well, and
next seasons.
it reads like a textbook, so
It
I
really
honestly
do.
kind of liked
I
it.
know, it's like, here is like history, and I'm like, oh, like
Yeah.
a historian.
We're so fucking nerdy.
Mhm.
A textbook instead of a novel? Sign me up. Ho, ho, ho. George R.R. Tolkien. Whatever. Yeah. Why must creepy people be creepy? We're so behind. When I was
The
watching...
J stands for Jorge, guys.
When I was watching your Bebe, I walked downtown and saw a man full on turn around and go, damn girl, look at you, and lick his lips at a woman. Oh, I hate that.
No.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Not
like,
good.
why?
Do not like.
Yeah. Dislike. Anyways, parasocial relationships, it's kind of dark. I'm old.
I know, I really don't like the lighting situation.
What
Can
do we
just
do?
can we just put this on low and just call it a day?
Ugh. Both of us just... The light! Can we just put it on low and call it a day? The reflection in your glasses,
That's
you know,
fine.
is the thing.
I'll live.
I don't even know that made a huge difference for reading ability for me. Because,
Do you need a flashlight, Medea?
I mean... Here we go.
Do you want me to get the reading lamp for you? I can if you need it.
No, it's just, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm coming to grips with my aging
I was gonna
eyeballs,
say,
okay?
Your mid-30s are hitting you hard, baby.
Excuse me, whose? I don't know her.
So actually, one of the things that struck me is that this term actually arose in 1956. That's the first. I was like, that is way earlier than I was expecting. Because honestly, before I
And
did...
then the guy died right after he published, like, the first paper about parasocial
Yes.
relationships, yeah.
Yeah, so, again, like, yeah, 1956, I was just like, I didn't even realize that this phenomenon had been around for so long, because the only context I've really heard of it was within Twitch or, you know what I mean, social media. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, the fact that it's been around since people, like, literally, like, radio broadcasters.
Arguably since theater, right?
Yeah.
It's like people relate to, like, that's why we tell stories as like
Mm-hmm.
a species, right? Is, you know, to teach social mores and stuff like Aesop's fables and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
right? You know, you're like cheering for the tortoise or whatever, tortoise versus hare kind of thing, you know? There's stuff in there.
That turtle guy, right?
Yeah, turtle dude. Yeah, no, it's interesting. And then there's like a big lull in the research though, and then it like comes back and now it's like a buzzword. Like it's just straight up people are like, it's a parasocial relationship. Anyways, yeah. Turn on the lamp behind y'all. Yeah, well, I'm thinking we
It's
could
just
take the
very
lamp and
backlit.
point it here. I think that might be the move.
If I do this, is it particularly bad?
Well, no, that makes it worse because we're backlit, but take the lamp and bring him over here and point him up there.
Okay, shall we do that
I
then?
feel like we could do that.
Where am I going to
I'm
put
gonna,
it?
you can bend, I'm blocking it so you can bend over while you grab the lamp and not expose
My
your,
ass exposed?
I mean, you could put your ass on the internet. It would probably go
I would
down
probably,
quite
this would
well,
probably
but,
be the,
you know.
most watched stream at that point.
yeah, I'd watch that. No problem. Okay, what's happening?
Put it behind.
Okay. All right. I'm also gonna try and not flash the internet here. All right. What are these?
Sick. What are what?
It's just there's some interesting paraphernalia
I
over
have-
here.
I have no
Oh, a
idea.
D20. That's neat. 2 D20s. Look at this, you guys. This is great. Why are these here?
I don't know. My husband is a nerd.
Things.
Can you?
This is
Can you
whoa. We had some issues. Look at this.
Oh ho ho.
Okay, what's happening?
Plug her in.
Where?
Okay,
Oh,
I'll
no.
go under the desk. Just pass me the cord.
From around.
Yeah. We're doing it.
She's
yeah.
under the desk, folks.
We're doing it. Yeah. We're doing it.
Wow.
Wow. Welcome
Oh God.
to science.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to.
Keep your
Well, no,
dress down.
you can see up it, but like the rest of the internet can't.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't offering for you to look up my dress. I was saying like you are able to from that angle.
Yes, 100%.
Well, okay, you know this is not bad.
Actually,
Okay.
I don't mind that. That's quite good, actually.
They glow. Hello.
Oh, baby. Oh, welcome back.
Okay, but this is pointed all crazy now.
Yeah.
And whoa. The cord is so heavy. Like, why would you make a camera that the cord can't even like? I don't know. This is issues.
Do you want to? I'll do it. You can say it.
I want to make it so it sees you. You know.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
Is that too? Are you gonna lose your head if you? Should I tip it up slightly?
No, it's fine. It's
Or
fine
is it
for
the top
me.
of your head?
We can.
Okay.
No, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Honestly, your finger looks like the one
E.T. It's very large. Look at this perspective here.
Okay.
What?
It reminds me of when the old guy in Toy Story 2 is like cleaning and fixing Woody.
Satisfying scene when he
Yeah.
like swipes on and when he wipes the Andy off.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You guys,
Yeah.
we'll get there.
This is fine.
This is okay. This is it. This is
This
Beautiful.
is Jean. That's an inside joke then.
This is Jean.
This is Jean. Okay. Oop, my king, wouldn't thou like to meet in the dements of life sometime? Yours truly, Claire. What? What does that mean? What is that?
Wouldst thou like to meet in the dements of life sometime?
Who's Clarence?
What's dements?
I don't know.
Old home videos of people adjusting the camera before the talent show. Yes.
You know
Yes,
what? Yeah.
true. It's like the zoom in, zoom out. Oh, the lighting.
Yeah, and the date is like set to like the wrong date,
Yes,
but it's like and it's
absolutely,
blinking and just
absolutely,
everything
yeah.
is just awful. Yeah, you know what? It worked out in the end though, and now you guys can see us with your eyeballs, and more importantly, I can see my notes, and you can see that one of the notes says porn ? Exclamation mark ? Exclamation mark because you can have a parasocial relationship with porn stars like Five Sure, right? You know, OnlyFans and stuff like that when they're like
100%. Cam girls.
yeah, it's wild just to think about everyone be in parasocial relationships, you know, and they don't have to be bad. Like that, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right?
100%. So I was actually looking at, so like parasociality and like celebrity worship are like essentially like this,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like a certain amount of. Honestly, if you interact with
There's
the,
a whole
interact
spectrum.
with the internet, you have experienced a parasocial relationship, right? Because
Yeah.
even just identifying with something that somebody says
Mm-hmm.
and being like, I find them entertaining,
Mhm.
or that you have an affinity for them,
Yeah.
that is one, like the lowest level of an parasocial relationship.
This is like the scale that I've seen from this.
Is this for the porn specifically?
No. This is just for parasocial spectrum of immersive
Oh,
parasocial.
sensory arousal. I thought that said sexual arousal, and that's why I was
Well, I mean, it could be,
confused.
I guess. So this basically goes from, on the mild end of things, the scale of parasocial relationships can go from just sensory arousal. So like you like listening to them or seeing them, or I mean it could be other types of arousal as well. You know, you could have a parasocial relationship with whatever you want.
I was gonna say it has to be a person.
Well, no, lamp.
Dragon.
Dragon, lamp. We're just saying nouns.
Book up.
Well, here's the other thing is I think that there's like not necessarily yes or no answers for these, but can you have a parasocial relationship with a like place or an institution? You know, when people are like, we have to rally together to save the town or my old high school or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a really modern idea, but like you hear about that sort of thing. Like the town really band together to save the old auditorium or whatever.
But parasociality has to be, if it's unidirectional, that thing has to be able to experience emotion, no? The object.
Lamp.
Well, they personified the lamp. They personified
Yeah, the
lamp.
anthropomorphizing,
Yes.
I think is...
I don't know how you can anthropomorphize an auditorium specifically.
I think you could, but it would be weird.
It would be a little strange.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. And I don't think that there's like a necessarily right or wrong answer to that. But like as I was writing, can you have one with like my dad, when we were talking about this earlier today, was like, so would it count if I like had a parasocial relationship with, say, like my dad's dad who I never met, but when I hear stories about him, you know, coming over and settling and starting the homestead and stuff like that, like, is that a parasocial relationship?
I was gonna say, if it elicits strong emotions,
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Yeah,
I'd say yes.
But like I told my
Interesting.
dad, I'm like, I don't know. That's a really good point, right? Anyways.
Like parasociality of like a parent that you've never met or something like that.
Yeah,
But if you're like kind of obsessed with figuring out who they are or something like that, that would be an interesting, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good
Because if you
question.
can have it with characters, then you can
Yeah.
have it with the idea of someone that you want them to be, right? Presumably. So I don't know. These are interesting questions, though, right? Big fingers. You need to add the boomer emote. Okay, listen. That's true, but ouch.
Can you
I'm kidding.
socialize with the town though? No, you cannot.
Well, and I guess the point is that it's unidirectional, so you don't really need to be able to socialize with someone. You just have to have I guess this is the scale, right? So on the mild end, it's sensory arousal and attention getting and increased entertainment value. So like the exact same content from two different people would potentially be different for you guys as the audience, right? So that's the, you know, maybe increased entertainment value that we bring potentially, or decreased, right? Depending on who you are, like the way that news is delivered by news anchors and stuff. Like we all love Anderson Cooper, I think, you know?
So it's interesting when you bring up news anchors, because I was looking up, there were like a few different sort of ways to sort of scale and measure parasociality. So one of the things that there's like essentially three important characteristics of that essentially can enhance or decrease the like ability to like create a parasocial relationship. So there's like the authenticity and realism of the figure. So for instance,
like how human they are or how lamp they are.
Yeah. Well, no. Like, how if they're like a credible person, right? So, for instance, if we're talking about it from, you know, a capitalistic standpoint, like media obviously uses parasocial relationships to sell things. That's why influencers are a fucking thing, right? So, authenticity and realism. So they have to come across as a credible person. They can't have.
It has to be relatable.
Well, yeah, like you can't have like beautiful skin naturally and then try to sell Proactive. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, you didn't, like, if you used it or whatever, like, it doesn't necessarily matter, but, you know, that's an important piece. Yeah. So, like, Justin Bieber trying to sell Proactive is an example of using parasociality to sell something.
Absolutely.
Representation across different media outlets. So, it's way easier to form a bond with a pop star or a film star, somebody who's going to do multiple different types of media, who's going to then go on talk shows, who's going to do interviews, who's, you know, to essentially build their brand, do social, like obviously do social media promotion now as well.
I wonder
as opposed to somebody who's just, you know, a news anchor.
So, you know, like Hot Ones and stuff, and how there's a lot more like down to earth, real interviews rather than like, did you identify with your character? What's your next film piece? Oh, you know, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why I got so into that character. Built a parasocial relationship with that schmuck.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I wonder if there's research about, well, actually, because I guess it's happening right now, we'd have to wait a little bit, but like the difference between that type of media and how that influences the intensity of a parasocial relationship.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, okay. Your girl came with cred.
Yeah. Apparently, at one like a you know, this is again from like a while ago, so we're talking like the 80s or something like that. UK radio broadcasters made a deliberate in the 1940s made a deliberate change from a clipped formal style to an informal fireside approach to essentially build these, build listeners and viewing via parasocial relationships to sound like they were talking directly to the audience and to the
like breaking the
individuals.
fourth wall kind of thing.
Exactly.
So, and this relates to some research that I was looking at that's relatively recent that's talking about, you know, talk shows and morning shows, how it looks like they stage it like a living room. You know, or in North America, lots of the talk shows are staged like a business sort of thing with a desk, right? So it kind of like also like caters to some of the social mores of places too, right?
Yeah.
But like, that's interesting that it's that early, right? People are thinking about this so fucking long ago.
I know, the fact that it's been like, this has been going on since the 1940s, or I guess probably since like radio has been around, so.
I would say probably, like, I mean, the research, you know,
itself,
that sort of thing, but like the actual parasocial relationships probably since humans, you know?
And sorry, so when I was there was 3 different characteristics. I'll just finish that out.
Yeah.
So it was the user context. So
user context?
Yeah, sorry, this is
what?
the text is
all
overlaid,
fucking weird.
interestingly enough.
Interesting.
So people, there's a lot of like, I guess, stigma around like the word parasocial, right? Because it's like, oh, like somebody who is quote unquote like, you know, it's a lonely person who's building this relationship with like somebody who doesn't know who they are, and like
it's like someone who papers their walls with pictures of the person and is like creepy Cheeto eater in their basement kind of stuff. That's what people automatically think of.
It's stigmatized,
yeah.
But it's actually like not like, so there's no evidence that like the ability of that person to build social relationships has anything to do with like them more likely to build a parasocial relationship. Yeah. I don't know how much research is done on that, but there's no evidence for it. And it actually, I was going to say, there is a lot of evidence that if you have somebody who is also has a parasocial relationship with the same person, sharing that and having that social bond, so 2 girls bonding over members of their favorite boy band essentially strengthens the parasociality of that relationship.
Interesting. So, okay, a great example of this, if you guys are YouTube people or used to like follow BuzzFeed when it was in its heyday, Sophia Nygaard, who did Ladylike and now has her own channel for like several years. She's a huge YouTuber. I showed Carly Sophia, and we both were like, I think that we would be friends with Sophia, and that's like the very definition of a parasocial relationship, and a pretty intense one. Like, according to some scales, if you think that person or character would like get along with you, that's like almost pathological level parasociality according to some scales. And I like, you know, how they define that I don't fucking know, but they talk about, I can't remember when you were saying like how it affects your like social world or like the relationship to your actual ability to build social relationships. Apparently exposure to your favorite character can increase your cognitive performance on the tasks. So like, you know, they give people like, I don't know, they show them pictures of fucking Superman or something and test them before and after the exposure, and like it's the person's chosen one, right? So you like, it's one that's relevant to the individual being tested. And that's like a relatively recent research. 08, that's like half decently recent.
Yeah, damn.
And so it's actually can be good, you know, like I think the main message that I think people should take away from this, if nothing else, is that like parasocial relationships aren't inherently good or bad.
Exactly.
Just like any other relationship. You know?
Well, I was going to say there's actually a lot of papers that I was reading that was talking about the fact that there are actually benefits to it, and the fact that you can use parasocial relationships to essentially create like mental well-being and other forms of well-being in your own life. Like there are people who do that and use that. So.
Well, think about it. Okay, so you're maybe a young LGBTQ individual from a rural area, and you don't feel necessarily safe, or like there's anyone like you that you can talk about things. There's no one to talk about Drag Race to, right?
Drag Race. Parasociality,
whole girl, yeah, whole different thing.
All the fucking sob stories.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and race chasers that like want to sleep with people. Anyways, but like you can imagine that it would be really beneficial for an individual in that scenario to be able to log on to like, I don't know, a chat room or this sort of thing, or watch someone that's like them, which circles back to like representation and political stuff and all of that sort of thing. But like, knowing that you're not alone and seeing how that person deals with a similar situation can be like really, I don't know. I think that that's kind of magical that that's available and maybe once wasn't, right? Cool.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, we haven't looked at chat in like 50 years.
Minute.
But where's the challenge? Look up in chat for context. What? Oh, big gloves from a big finger.
Vocaloids? The hell?
Can you socialize with a town, though? Realism is well and good, but what about... What's a Vocaloid? Like a neurosama? An AI VTuber. Okay. Yeah, no, you can definitely have a relationship with AI VTubers. Yeah. That's like lots of the research and like stuff about that is, How about Hatsune Miku? Yeah, man, I watched a video where this dude married his Miku doll. He said he knew it wasn't real, though. Oof, that's just kind of sad. Yep, I think they're quite lonely but bad at IRL since our action Sag. So yeah, we just kind of touched on that it, isn't necessarily if you have a parasocial relationship, it's because you're bad at other relationships. It can be coinciding, that can co-occur, but they're not causatively related, right? So.
What if given the option between parasocial relations and a normal relationship, what people would choose?
I have the answer. I have the answer. So I actually took pictures of the graph. There's a sex difference too. Guess who cares more?
Wait, what?
Okay, so people were asked to imagine their favorite fictional character. Fictional character specifically, not just someone they have a parasocial relationship with, a fictional character. So, I don't know, Harry Potter. Right? Just for an example. And then picture someone that they have not a super close relationship with, but like, say a work colleague or a neighbor or, something like that. Someone that you know relatively well, but isn't like you or something, like your parent or your best friend. And they asked them to rate their grief if they imagined that these people died.
Jesus.
And lo and behold, in women, their character grief was significantly higher than if a real person died. A character versus a real person. No such difference in men. Women cared more overall if someone died. But
that's normal.
Yeah. And so that's the answer. They care more about the characters. Us girls, we care more about the characters, I guess. Oopie. And it was pretty decent sample size too. The graphs were garbage though. Yeah. Anyways.
That's wild to me.
Isn't it? Shit. I mean, that's only one study, so like don't take that on the ground and like, paint everybody with the same brush, but like
and now I'm trying to think of like who I would actually in like a character that I would actually care about more dying than like somebody that I like know. Yeah.
So apparently the thing that matters, this is the author of this paper, like the supervisor of the research group there, kind of elaborated on this a little bit and said that they found that the driving factor in this wasn't like realism, it was how close they felt to that character. So they actually felt closer to the non-existent character than they did to the acquaintance. So it could be the fact that they controlled for like the closeness of the relationship and said that it's only an acquaintance. Yeah. And they, but still it's a real human being versus an imaginary thing. So like, wow. And then
but parasociality doesn't like separate those two things, right? Like the definition of a parasocial relationship is that it's like the closeness of that is like completely independent of the fact that that thing is not real or doesn't know you
Yeah.
exist. You know what I
I
mean?
guess the acquaintance, it would be a reciprocal relationship, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
be parasocial. So
Yeah.
that's how they made that comparison. But anyways, it's interesting, right? Okay, so I didn't know this. Did you watch This Is Us? The show with
I've
the
seen a few
guy?
episodes, yeah.
Okay, so I've never seen it, but apparently people just like lose their minds over it.
Really
It's
love
like
it, yeah.
yeah, it's like a network TV show. And
It's on Hulu.
spoiler alert, a very important character dies. And the way that they die is because of a crock pot, a malfunctioning crock pot. Okay, yeah. So you know about the person that dies, right? Like surely you've had that spoiled.
Aren't they dead at the very beginning of the
Oh
show?
yeah, so I guess yeah,
Pretty
the premise is that they're
sure, yeah.
dead. But okay, so you
Yes.
find out how they die, and it's a
Yes.
malfunctioning crock pot. And apparently people got so heated about it that they were like boycotting Crockpot, and the actor that played the guy that died did a little like, it's not your fault Crockpot, personifying and anthropomorphizing the fucking Crockpot to try and like get probably away from a lawsuit from Crockpot for like sewering their sales. But like the internet, warriors got like pissed at Crockpot that this fictional character died enough that it drove their like consumer activities.
Damn.
And
dude.
then they used the parasocial relationship to personify the Crockpots.
That's wild.
Isn't
That is
it?
so wild.
Isn't it? I don't know. I was reading that and I was like, surely,
It's okay,
surely
Crockpot.
not. Well, and then I like saw like little stills from it, and he's like standing there like relatably near the Crockpot, just like, it's not your fault, Crockpot. Like having a conversation with the Crockpot, you guys.
Oh my god, dude.
It's like a lamp.
It's like the lamp. Okay, so on that note,
Yeah.
that like low key is like it's like borderline pathological.
I know
of,
it's.
like,
I don't even know about borderline.
Parasociality.
It's
so,
bad. That's terrible.
So like but there are degrees of it,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
like it's not always like that. Thank fucking God, or else
Mhm.
that would be a lot. So there's like different varieties of it. Like there's a spectrum of like these relationships. So entertainment and social values. So people just like knowing who Paris Hilton is and finding that she's interesting. You don't have, you can be
She's
like
amazing.
I was gonna say you can be like a little obsessed with her, but like
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
So this is like, my friends and I like to discuss what my favorite celebrity is up to, this type of stuff. So that right there.
Yeah, like, did you see this newest episode of
Yes.
Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah,
that
or
sort
like
of stuff.
or like reality TV.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Desperate
That-
Housewives? Is that a thing? Desperate Housewives?
Real Housewives. Desperate Housewives was the fictional one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Housewives.
The Housewives.
Jenna.
Yeah, there you go. So that is like level 1, and then there's like the intermediate level, which people are very familiar with in like teenage girls. So it's like,
Yeah.
I consider my favorite celebrity to be my soulmate.
Yeah.
Or I have frequent thoughts about this celebrity, even
Yeah.
when I don't want to.
Like
so,
a mental preoccupation with
Exactly, yeah. So that's like an intermediate level of parasociality.
Have definitely done that.
And then pathologically, and again, actually there was some evidence that type of parasociality, like intermediate, is like very, very common. It's actually part of the developmental process. So like, how many girls do we know? Like boy bands wouldn't even be a thing if parasocial relationships
Yeah,
weren't.
yeah, they
You know what I
thrive
mean?
on
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And then finally, it's like pathological. So for instance, if someone gave me several $1,000s to do with as I please, I would consider spending it on personal possession like a napkin or paper plate once used by my favorite celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
If I were lucky enough to meet my favorite celebrity and he or she asked me to do something illegal, as a favor, I would probably do it. That, yeah, like we're going into crime territory, we're going into...
I'm like, if Tom DeLonge asked me to like carry weed across an international border, I wouldn't immediately say no. I'd mull it over.
Tom DeLonge.
From Blink-182.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, but I have met him, and he didn't ask me to do that. He's a very funny.
He's a good human being.
Well, he's weird.
Weird.
He's a weird dude. Yeah, he's a mega weird dude. He's like super into aliens. Like really, really, really into aliens.
That's the lead singer or the guitarist?
Well, both technically. So there's 3 members. Travis Barker, everybody knows who that schmuck is. Anyways, so Travis is a drummer, their second drummer actually. And then there's Mark is their bassist and also one of the main vocalists, depending on the song. And then Tom DeLonge is the guitarist and another main vocalist.
Okay.
That's it. Anyways, the Drag Race fan community, wild. True, but less effort overall. How wild, though. Obsessed. Huh, that tracks. Whoa, how could you spoiler that? I'm sorry. I mean, everybody knew that he was dead.
So is reality TV driven by parasocial relationships? Yes, baby. And freaking fork, I know exactly what you're talking about because Vanderpump Rules specifically, which is derivative of that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Real Housewives. Real ones.
Which is one that our sister-in-law is obsessed with, and my actual sisters and mom are obsessed with. There's like this cheating scandal that happened, and it's all over social media, and it's being played out in this season that's airing right now. So people really are interested, and they're getting pissed off at the person who cheated.
Yeah.
That right there is like, this person has no idea who you are, but because they're in the public eye, you know, there's obviously there's parasociality going on. People are defending the person that was cheated on,
and people get heated.
Heated because of parasocial relationships. Exactly.
I've had people throw garbage at me because of the jersey that I'm wearing for hockey in this current city.
Oh, you mean?
Yes. Yeah. Because I'm a fan of the rival team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we've talked about where we live, right? So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, we live in Quebec. And the hockey team here is rival is Boston. I'm a Boston fan. Hate me if you want to. But people have literally like thrown garbage and shouted at me. And I'm like, you're not one of them. Like, you know, the we in sports, like, yeah, we really went out there and crushed them. Like, that's a parasocial thing too, right? So.
I think this is due leche.
Due leche? Yeah.
I don't agree that those imply pathology. What specifically? That you would carry...
That you would spend your money on a napkin that, like, Harry Styles used?
Thousands of dollars on a napkin? Sorry.
That's okay. I think that's super pathological. I mean, unless you're fucking filthy rich, in which case, like, whatever. But, like, it is something to, like, have a collection and stuff like that and a curio kind of approach to things. Because people are allowed to have, like, coin collections and shit like that, so you know, what's the difference, I guess, from some perspectives, what's the difference if you're collecting like other related things? But I think it would be the tone of that collection, you know?
Sorry, say that again? You think that coin collecting?
Well, so I'm saying, how different really would collecting paraphernalia associated with a human being in a parasocial fashion be from just spending all your money on like whatever other types of collections people have? Like,
yeah, but I think it's the fact that you're spending all this money on, and it's essentially garbage. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, but it doesn't have to be garbage. In that case, it would be pathological.
Like I was gonna say, if you collect like merch. Or
that's kind of what I'm thinking of.
But like, if you're spending thousands of dollars on a napkin,
yeah,
you're pretty much erring on the side of,
yeah,
because it's like that napkin doesn't bring you closer to that person. It just makes you feel like you're closer to that
Aren't
person.
there like really big like Civil War buffs and stuff like that are like, I collected the bullet from the Battle of
Well, there's historical value there, I assume, but yeah.
Yeah.
And again, they're not spending money. Maybe they're just spending.
Maybe they are. People do. Anyways, it's interesting, and I could see where people would think it's not necessarily pathological, but I'm with you. I think it, probably is.
Okay. Okay, DK. Hang on. By that logic, you are both parasocializing.
Absolutely,
IRL.
we are. Yes. Like right now, we are in a parasocial relationship with every single one of you, except for our real friends that are on her and her real husband. That's the truth.
Yeah. Well, we're actually interacting in real time. Like, granted,
doesn't matter.
I was gonna say we don't know who. Yeah. I guess the people that we don't know who they are. Yeah.
Well, and even if we did, it's kind of like power dynamics are like just because you acknowledge that they're there or don't, like that doesn't change the nature of their actual reality of the situation, right? So like we could claim that this is all like very actual relationships and like, you know, we have feelings about this, but it's a parasocial relationship, and that's not a bad thing. That's just a thing.
Well,
it's
I was
just
gonna
facts.
say the fact that you're like, Muse Clues has been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
You're like, I have no idea who this is.
That's amazing. I know a couple facts about Muse Clues. I would not pay for Muse Clues' napkin, but you know, I hope you have access to napkins though. So
see, but I think there's like you can kind of draw the line of their, I don't know, I question though if this is parasociality in some respect because of the fact that in like typical ones with celebrities, right, or people on TV, they have actually no clue that we exist. You know what I mean? They have no clue who we
I
are.
don't know. People say that streamers are like quintessential parasocial relationships, alongside influencers. From what I was,
but it's typically
researching.
applied to like
Bigger ones,
very
maybe?
popular streamers, right, who have 1,000 views at a time or whatever it is.
I don't know. I think there's certainly degrees of the parasociality here. Like, I mean, I don't know if he's here, but Risto and I like actually speak offline. Like, I don't know. I know how his day is going usually, kind of thing, and he knows how mine is going. I know what he's barbecuing for whatever day it is today in America. Because today's, remember?
I want you to tell me what day it is in America, because I want to hear you say it.
It's not. Hold on, I'll get it.
It's kind of like Victoria Day, but not.
I know, but it's, you guys don't like the monarchy down there. No, we don't like it here either. I don't. It just doesn't matter. It's crap. I don't know. I don't know.
She asked me if today was Independence Day earlier, and I was like, no, it's Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
And then she was like, so when is Independence Day? And I was like, July 4th. And she was like, wait, July 4th and Independence Day are the same thing? She thought they were like different holidays. Because she always just hears people refer to it as July 4th.
Yeah,
right?
the 4th of July.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just figured they're all kind of about America. Yeah. Like, most of the ones here are kind of like, yeah.
Memorial Day is about veterans who have passed away specifically. That one. It's very
So ours is in November
military-oriented.
in Canada. Like, it's like Remembrance Day kind
Yeah,
of?
Remembrance
But
Day.
Remembrance Day is like super somber. Like, people ain't out there barbecuing. People out there like standing and poppying and stuff.
Well, I was gonna say there's literally no holidays that people actually get somber, except maybe like Veterans Day in.
Oh, maybe that's more like our.
Maybe, but Remembrance Day is for the dead ones, which is Memorial Day.
I don't know if we have one for the live ones. I like having the day off though. We don't have the day off right now because we're not there. But yeah. Anyways.
Okay, so I gotta understand Duleche's argument. Okay, yeah, everyone has their own mental icks as long as it doesn't affect them IRL nor behaviorally. I wouldn't say they are pathological. There are people who believe in astrology and wouldn't say that's pathological, right? Just because it's nonsense. Okay, so
What defines pathological is how much it affects your day to day. So you're onto something there, right? Like I use the example when I was teaching 211 with you, and I teach like the abnormal psych at the end. People are like, how do you draw the line between like having OCD tendencies? People are always like, oh, I'm OCD about that. And it's like, well, no, you're like, that's a misapplication of the thing, because you can be preoccupied with something a little bit, but be able to disengage from it. It's the, how much it affects your well-being determines whether or not something's pathological, right?
Yeah.
Generally.
And I just want to clarify, I gave a few different examples, and the only two that were considered to be pathological were the thousands of dollars in a napkin. If, like, again, you're, like, essentially wasting money that could go towards something better, like, compulsively. And, like, being willing to do criminal acts for this person that doesn't know who you
Also,
are.
this is someone's perspective on it. Like, there's
Again,
different
this is
theories on
100%.
stuff.
This is, again, like a relatively, like almost everything we talk about on this show, is a relatively understudied phenomenon. So there's obviously different theories
Well, and it's
that
hard to
aren't in
prove
agreement.
these things, right? Like, that's the
100%.
nature of theories, is we're
Yes.
actively always trying to disprove them. That's actually how science works. But anyways, yeah, so that's one perspective on it for sure. Spending a lot of money doing crime. Yeah, exactly. Get a grips up there. If you do, then that's pathological. Yeah. I think you're using the word parasocial a bit freely. Yeah. Because parasocial relationships apply to a lot of things. And I think the instinct to be like, no, it's not, it's a real thing, comes from the fact that they're stigmatized, and there's this kind of like social idea that they're a bad thing. They're not a bad thing. They're, like Layla was saying, like upbringing and learning about morals and stuff like that for, Dora the Explorer and stuff. Learning about consent with teddy bears, that happens in like kindergarten and stuff. And that's based on, parasocial projection at the very least, right? So, yeah. It does depend how you draw the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
if you open the application up pretty wide, it could technically be most things,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And I was gonna say, I feel like the line is very blurred now because of COVID, specifically because we have these, like, everything is remote, right? So, okay,
Mhm.
we're all going to a Zoom meeting, or we're going to, like, class, you know what I mean, virtually.
Yeah.
And typically we would have the opportunity to be like, okay, I'm interacting with my professor,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, oh, I'm interacting with the professor even less because I'm sitting in a fucking Zoom
Mhm.
meeting, you know, and learning.
Yeah.
And, like, that, I think the aspect of it being virtual adds a level of, like, is it parasocial, as opposed to sitting in a classroom
Yeah.
with that student.
I would
And
completely agree.
You know what I mean? And I feel like,
They do talk about that, like the
Yeah.
researchers that specialize in this area, which are neither of
Mhm.
us, to be clear.
yeah.
They talk about this, and like this is how they're defining it. Again, like so, you know, whether or not you guys agree with it, that's fine. It was not our theory. Well, I might pay for a Muse napkin. Is it embroidered? Will it come with a rat? Okay, I thought I would pay for it. Rats? I'm in. The fireworks holiday. Yeah, pathological evils relating to a physical or mental disease. Yeah, if you go with a really like staunch anatomical and like medical definition, then yeah. But I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
if yeah.
Yeah, again, yeah, pathology does, it's supposed to be, like, disease-oriented. It has, like, a negative effect on your life in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, affect you day to day, living negatively, thinking, spending a bit of shit ton for a specific thing, ergo you thought they were referring to doesn't imply pathology. It does if you should be spending money on something else, like food,
Yeah.
if you're choosing to spend money on the napkin.
I'm gonna clarify the anecdote again. If someone gave me several $1,000s to do with as I please, I would consider it, I would consider using it on a personal possession, like a napkin or paper plate, once used by my favorite celebrity. I think it's interesting that you're defending that being not pathological. I'd be curious to dig deeper into that.
I mean, it's not necessarily harmful, but you'd have to kind of really circle around to, like, it doesn't have to technically, maybe, like, you know, we're adding a whole lot of qualifiers.
Yeah, like
It's
if
probably
you know,
pathological.
I was gonna say, like, somebody going and buying, like, Paris Hilton's used tampon, questionable.
Yeah.
Why did
Gross.
you just get excited about
Oh, no, that was gasp.
like,
Whoa. That was just
yeah, just,
big example.
like,
I
again,
was not excited as if I would want that. Sorry.
Yeah, like, again, it's like, it is, that money could go towards something that's beneficial to you, and it's being spent on something that you, again, I think it's also this intention of, like, oh, I want to, like, enhance this relationship, but, like, you're not actually
Well, and
doing
also
that.
consider the fact that they used napkin and paper plate, not like her platinum record or something. Like the value dissociation there, like it's very discrepant, right?
Yeah.
No one should be spending $1,000 on a napkin. It's just not a thing. Saying someone is parasocial because they commented on something you were wearing without knowing you ain't parasocial. No, you're right. It's not necessarily, but. Are you talking about when Buddy Cat called me? No, that's not parasocial, but it made me feel icky. That was just me telling a story. Wait, so is creating a brand just managing? Honestly, lots of the research in this area is about influencers and people monetizing parasocial relationships and leveraging that.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is something that's, like, again, we're talking about it as a psychological phenomenon, but, like, without this name is something that the media industry has been leveraging for
As long as media has existed.
decades, almost like a century at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, like, essentially,
Even before that, like drafting for, oh no, I guess that was still when media was a thing.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But, like, making celebrities be personable and making them interesting, and, like, in the age of TikTok where there are corporate record labels are telling their
scouts
their,
to go.
well, and their singers, their artists, that they have to be on TikTok, they have to make TikToks, they have to interact with their audience, is monetizing that parasocial relationship. 100%. Creating a brand, almost definitely.
Yeah. Well, and consider, like, I'm trying to think about how far back there would be like pretty decent evidence that would convince me there were parasocial relationships, because of course we don't have any evidence other than maybe written things. But I'm thinking about like coins with the monarch on them. Like that goes back really far.
Bro, my grandma is obsessed. She was so upset when Queen Elizabeth died. She's obsessed with the monarchy.
Princess Diana is one of the quintessential examles that they use.
Yes, always, where people were crying about this person that literally had no real effect on their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 100%.
Or even did. Like, I got really upset when David Bowie died. I was pretty bummed for, like, several days. Because, like, it was something that, like, affected me. I had a pretty serious parasocial relationship with David Bowie. It meant a lot to me, you know? And I don't think that there's anything necessarily pathological in that. And that's what we're talking about, this spectrum of you can have just, like, a parasocial relationship that's perfectly adaptive or neutral, but it can get pathological at its extreme end. Like most behaviors can become pathological. Me scratching my head, not pathological. If I do it 1,000 times and my hair starts to fall out, pathological, right? Yeah. So, new brain cell got in yesterday. Here you go. Nice. Fire that bad boy up. I do not see it. People spend way more money on things that are irrelevant as the napkins, and no one thinks it's pathological. True, but the reason that they're purchasing those is for social cachet and prestige and stuff like that, right? And they are related, but I think like there's a fine distinction. And it's equally perhaps silly and irresponsible spending by some people's, management potentially, but
again, I think you're really focused on the monetary aspect of this, and you can buy posh clothes or sneakers or watches, but if you're buying those because somebody that you love is marketing them to you,
if you buy Yeezys because Kanye made them,
100%, or it's their brand, there is a parasocial influence that's happening there. And if you're spending it on something that, again, which is essentially a piece of garbage, just because you feel it will enhance that relationship with this person.
Granted, if you spend money that you don't have to, those things, then it's pathological. Yeah. I do think there can be, but they're, only in a very small circle would there be cachet for idol regalia. But again, regalia is different from napkins, but I think we should move on from the napkins. I think we should leave the napkin behind. But there was research that was talking about how it influences people's ideas around relationships, and that it can actually affect there was a proportional correlative relationship such that your relationship satisfaction and your idea of how difficult maintaining a relationship is proportional to the amount of romantic content like soap operas and stuff that people were consuming. So it really does stand to potentially shape someone's ideas of like actual social mores and stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean, that's just culture at that point. Like we're just talking about like literal culture, but it shows the power of these sorts of relationships, en masse, right? That like it doesn't have to be that you love Katherine Heigl, but if you take Katherine Heigl, the archetype, and you watch all of the movies that are rom-coms like 27 Dresses, and then your idea of romance is that it should be with someone that you didn't quite get along with to begin with, but boy oh boy, they grew on me. Oh, suddenly in love. Like, you know what I mean? And then you think that's your idea of what it should look like. It's very prescriptive. I feel like all of celebrities out there, I think Taylor Swift has,
I was actually thinking that is a really good example, and it's the way that she now has a very private life, but she was everywhere in her youth, and she still writes songs about these experiences she had, so people love to break apart the song. She creates essentially puzzles for people, but at the same time, conveying things that are relatable, things that people can find affinity in.
Which is those first three criteria you were talking about, the authenticity, the relatability. I really like that. I didn't find any of that in my research, and I did like 3 pages worth of notes here. Like, so look at me, just dead people, because I'm on the phone with my dad.
Finding identification in something. So if you identify with with what somebody is talking about.
Yeah.
That is how you can build. It's a level of parasociality.
Well, and that's powerful. Identity building.
Yes.
Like, think about that for just pause and let that think for a second. Who you think of yourself as a person is influenced by your relationships, mine with you, but also I identify as someone that's really into punk rock, and like, you know, I is kind of a goofy childlike person, so I think like I am the embodiment of a Blink-182 fan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's something there that is quintessentially at least fractionally part of who I identify as. That's fucked.
Well, also
it's cool.
Well, part of it is also wishful identification. So it's like, who do you want to be, as opposed to who do you actually.
This
see
past
yourself
Saturday
as.
night, I worked on a puzzle, so very punk rock behavior. What were you saying about wishful
Full identification?
Listen, I'm punk rock in my heart. That's so funny. No. That's such a good point.
Sorry, but to go back to your
Yeah.
point that you were making, there's actually a little bit of evidence, I don't know if I have it here in my notes, that part of this parasociality is related to the ability to like imagine and imagination. So like this thing that, you know, kids who
Like a
have,
cognitive ability?
almost, but like with
Okay.
kids who have like imaginary friends growing up.
Yeah.
And so
Uh-huh.
but there is no, obviously, research done in this area of, like, has the prevalence of imaginary friends gone down in the era of social media? You know what I mean?
Well, and is it an imaginary friend if it's a character, like, you know, or if it's like an AI or whatever? I don't want to get into the AI thing again for
but
endless amounts of time, by the way, but
it's touching on the same phenomenon. It's
Yeah.
using the same mechanism, essentially.
that's so true. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I think for me, it's what really interested me about this, because it's a normal thing, but when it goes pathological, you start to get into like erotomania territory. So I'll let you talk about what you want to talk about.
Well, I mean, we talked a lot about like that negative end of it, right? And how it can get pathological, which I think is inarguable. It can.
Yeah.
You know, what that looks like, debatable. But there's also positive things. So there was research, and I didn't write down who did the research, and I'm kicking myself for that, but there was research that suggests that exposure to different ideas led to a decrease in prejudice. So they're talking about like social exposure to LGBTQIA or different racial, interracial friendships and stuff like that. And seeing that on TV led to a decrease in prejudice. And it made me think of, have you watched The Last of Us yet? For the love of fucking Christ, woman. This is going to become an issue. Homework. Anyways, okay, if you guys know the third episode, the Bill episode, Bill and Frank, if anybody's seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know the characters and the type of person that would identify with those characters and what their stereotypical views would be on sexual and gender diversity. It's a mismatch, right, in that episode. And then it's something that they relate to, the relatability, the authenticity of that character, then kind of breaks down that wall, and it's really interesting. It's one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen, like bar none. I've watched it at least 5 times. I kind of have chills just talking about it. It's so good. Anyways, but I think that's one of the good things, right, that you can do. This exposure, these relationships to these characters can be meaningful in a good way, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool. Such a cult. What's a cult? Oh, it's such a cult. One of my exes was obsessed with fan fiction involving Jack Sparrow. Take that as you will. Sounds bad. That's how I'm taking it. Sounds shitty.
Friggin' Pork was saying the Taylor Swift stuff it's a bit like a cult, essentially.
Yeah, I would say so. I was thinking about Kevin, my ex, and him coming on and stalking me. It's a very one-directional relationship. Is that a parasocial relationship? No, because I had
him in person. Yeah.
Well, you can.
Now it's just stalking. It's just.
Oh yeah,
stalking.
he's cyber stalking me. Just to be clear. So if you ever see someone named Kevin Moody in the chat, actually I think we've kicked him. But if there's like Kevin Moody 2, just you can give that guy.
Could you imagine just Kevin Moody 3?
That's basically what he did with the accounts that, because I would block one, another one would pop up.
But You really think he would come in and use the same name? Like, that's chaos.
Well, clearly he's not worried about me knowing it's him. He wants me to know it's him.
I think that there's this level of obliviousness there that he's
You
okay.
think?
He's okay.
A level of obliviousness? This man is thicker than concrete. Like, come on. Get it through your skull. Brain cell working magic. All the 90s, 2000 rom-coms that taught all these people that you have to borderline stalk a person to win them.
Blech.
Blech.
This is very much on brand, though.
Yeah.
He's stalking you to win you.
It's true.
Would you say code switching falls someone into this category?
Ooh, that's a interesting question.
I don't know.
In what context, I guess, the answer would depend on context, would be my answer to that very broad question.
Would you say moderating Discord Twitch channels provides prestige through... Are you trying to suck up to Get a Grip and say that he has prestige as a moderator?
I think so. I think that's actually kind of a good question, even if you meant it jokingly. It's a good thought exercise. It could be. It could be. I mean, like, I didn't look into the prestige and the social cachet and the social value of it in that way, and I don't know how much research is in that kind of existence arena, but yeah. The creator or the moderator, or any of the other various accounts. Fake prestige. I mean, realistically, if it's within the community prestige, if you were a moderator for one of the, like, top accounts on Twitch, I would be telling my friends, like, yeah, I'm a moderator for fucking Pokemon. You know?
Yeah.
I know there's scandal with her right now, so if she did something off color, I take that back, but just
I don't even know the name that you just named.
She's a very big streamer, female streamer.
Okay.
And I think she's not problematic, but I think there's drama with her and someone else right now, so maybe she said, I don't know. If she said something bad, but I don't know, is what I'm trying to articulate here. Fake prestige. You have a parasocial relationship with your wife? No, that's just a normal relationship.
A what?
A normal relationship, but I said it very nasal.
I thought you said a horrible relationship.
Oh, no.
My
aspirations. No. You guys are my rom-com.
Oh. You're part of the throuble, BB.
That's true. Down with moderators. Chaos. Anarchy. I love the Pedro Pascal thing. That movie is so fucking good. Have you seen it?
Is the one with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Oh.
It's so funny. It's so good. You should watch it.
I probably should watch it because it's honestly, and the memes, I love those memes. They're my favorite memes on
You will find it funny.
Okay.
Anytime Pedro Pascal is on the screen, I'm just having a great time.
Okay.
I laughed out loud, and I've seen it before, and I rewatched it recently, and I was like, that's great.
I was gonna say, I feel like we need to update the daddy and the mommy list.
Yeah, we haven't touched on the daddy and mommy list in a minute,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a tough list to make the cut.
Yeah, I feel like the Pedro Pascal is just everywhere right now, so he's just jumped up to the number one
just
spot.
did Hot Ones.
Did he?
Yeah.
He is like, I don't know who's on his marketing team, but he needs to pay them more, bro,
Yeah.
because like him doing the ads for
Merge Mansion?
yeah, Merge Mansion.
I have Merge Mansion on my phone from when I was flying. I was like, I'm at the airport. I'm bored of all the shit I have on my phone. It's terrible. It's an awful game, but
I know.
good job, Pedro.
Yeah,
I at least
exactly.
downloaded it. I did not spend money, though.
Yeah, he's like literally in every meme right now, like the dancing,
Yeah.
eating the sandwiches.
The Try Guys did a video about like an ultimate daddy. Oh, ooh, actually, that's good. Who is on their potential daddy lists? So Mufasa from The Lion King was one of theirs, and it brought up some heated conversation.
I was gonna say bestiality. I'm not.
It's a
really...
cartoon character. If you were a lady,
So
you were a lady lion, would you think man Mufasa was hot?
Man, Mufasa.
Lady lion, man Mufasa.
Wait, what? That still doesn't line up.
What do you mean? Oh no. Lady lion, Mufasa.
The
Still lion, but
lion.
man, in like lady and man is what I
Yes,
was getting
yes,
at there.
yes.
Anyways, do you think Mufasa's hot? Let's just fucking cut to the chase. He doesn't do it for me.
I don't know. He doesn't do it for me either.
He doesn't do it for me. I see the daddiness, but I don't see the daddiness.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
Like I would want him to like protect me, but I wouldn't want him to like.
do other things.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Pet the mods, pet. My geriatric brain forgot.
Him at the Mecca. The knees.
The nice daddy.
Oh my God.
I just looked that up. Lola Bunny.
Lola Bunny.
Oh, Lola Bunny. If I was a...
Wait, where? What?
You know who Lola Bunny is from Space Jam?
Oh, yeah. Where they redid her outfit to be more
Oh.
inclusive.
Yeah.
So you want to know something? Somebody I have to add to this list, and people can...
You can fight me if you want.
Yeah, fight me if you want. But I have just started playing Legend of Zelda, and the character Pura is like mommy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Hoorah. No,
This
so
is
right click this and go
Do incognito window.
New private, but I don't know if we have to move the light to share it.
Why no work?
Share screen. Click.
It's not even lifting up a window.
Oh, oopie.
Oopie. Qu'est-ce que c'est là?
Qu'est-ce que c'est là? I think we would have to add the... Ooh, nice. There we go. Okay. What's it?
P-U-R-A.
I don't think it's clicked in. It's not clicked in.
Oh,
That says stream. This says stream.
that says ream.
I'll never forget that. I was actually writing Steam today because I was looking up for gaming if I decide to game on my channel.
Stram.
That says Steam. This gives you mommy vibes, you see. What does she do? Is the little one also her?
She's a scientist. This is her in Breath of the
Okay.
Wild, and this is Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'd like to hear more information for her.
Wouldn't you want Mufasa to release you from a cliff?
No! He got released from the guys trauma. My parasocial relationship. I wept. I still weep when Mufasa dies.
Scene. It fucks with me.
Parasocial relationship.
Apparently, my little cousin. Apparently my little cousin, when her mom passed away, that was the only movie she wanted to watch was The Lion King.
Probably because she wanted to co-regulate.
Yeah.
That's a fucking thing.
Yeah, 100%. Going back to parasocial relationships.
Yeah, don't scroll too far is a good piece of advice. Waiting for the daddy list. Kim Possible? Shiko from Kim Possible is not daddy or mommy vibes. She's just hot. Outright. Which is a complicated thing for me to say as your husband went as her for...
You know what's actually hilarious is friggin' Fork, not even a month before Halloween, when we had already decided that Sean was going as Shigo and I was going as Kim Possible, called us or texted us with no idea of what our Halloween costumes were going to be, and said, you know what, Layla should go as Shigo. She has the hair for it. And I was like, did you tell him? What the hell? Like,
That's so funny.
yeah,
That was a good Halloween. It was fun.
it was good. Okay, so parasocial relationships.
Well, we didn't add anything to the daddy list. You said you wanted to revise
I
it.
wanted to update the mommy list.
Oh, okay. Just the mommy
is,
list.
Is it just Nigella Lawson on there? I feel like that's the only
Well,
one.
I wanted Angelica Houston, but she's not aged exceptionally well and isn't a universal pick. So we decided to not, because it needs to kind of be a consensus.
Yeah.
Is the list. so.
Consensus between the two of us.
Yep. Well, and like as long as there's not like utter outcry in the chat,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, but also suck it a little bit, you know, if there is. It's our list. Who else can? I don't know. Who else can go on the daddy list?
Somebody suggested one to me the other day, and I was like, heck yeah, and I can't remember what it was now. And get a grip. Do you remember?
Oh, lots of people really like the dad from the one with the marbles in your mind. It's a thing. Fucking Christ, you guys. It's like the cartoon about your feelings.
Oh, the dad from Inside Out?
Yes.
What the fuck?
People like him. The gay community loves him. Doug, back me up on this. The gay community loves.
I think we've gone over this before. I remember.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Oh boy, don't scroll too far. We have content. Oh no.
Okay. Well,
it's not that bad, but yeah. No, yeah. See that? Look at this. That's Thirst. Hot dad from Inside Out.
what?
I don't
It's
see
gotta be the
it.
stash. It's gotta be the stash.
Yeah,
The
I
gays
guess.
love a stash.
This one over
It's
here
very
is
inappropriate.
lots. Yeah,
Very
we've
inappropriate.
definitely looked this up before. My Alzheimer's. He is so hot. What's that about? I don't see it.
I don't
It's
see it.
the gays love him though.
I don't know. It's the stash, bro.
It's the stash. I do like a stash, but it's just it's not there for me.
You know who? Actually, I do remember who I wanted to add to it, and you didn't
I'm
want
gonna fight you?
You didn't want to say it. It's our cannabis researcher friend.
No, well, yeah.
That we don't want to. You want to air it?
I don't think we should. I don't think we should. I still.
We actually know this person. This is actually one of our fellow colleagues in the pain field, and we.
Not one that we worked with super
Yeah.
closely, by the way. In case, yeah. Anyways, but it's a controversial pick outside of this duo.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, this duo is the only duo that matters.
That's true.
Yeah, I was
Exactly.
gonna say, yeah, nobody else
Fuck the rest
wants
of them.
that.
But yeah,
It's the British accent, man. That just does it.
yeah, something about it, hey?
Something about it.
Something about it. Sweet Lord, the first pick on the second row. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Sweet Lord.
Also, this man on the list from. Yeah, that man was on the list. That's what made me think of it. Is the Try Guys list. I love the Try Guys, and that's a parasocial relationship for sure. But
Earl Devereaux from Rainy with a Chance.
Well,
Sunny
then-
with a Chance of Meatballs.
I don't know who that is.
It's the
people like-
father from the film. He literally has a
people-
mustache. Same mustache.
People really like. Have we talked about the tiger from the one with the animals?
The
He-
tiger from like the lion, not the lion,
No.
from Jungle Book. That
No, Shere
tiger?
Khan.
We are. Bruh.
No, okay, Shere.
Bruh.
You just put Shere Khan in my mind, and I questioned it for a second.
Oh my god! No! Shit! I accidentally clicked something.
Oh dear.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
No, the lion from it's like one of the newer animation ones with the rabbit and the fox, and there's the sloth that works at the DMV.
Oh, you're talking about from Zootopia.
Yes, people really like the tiger from Zootopia. They say the tiger from Zootopia would treat me right. Shere Khan has like a little bit of like riz. It's not the worst. Knows what to do with a snake.
It's kind of scary.
Ayo.
Kind of scary though, bro.
He's supposed to be scary.
I know. Zootopia. Isn't he a lion?
I think he's a tiger. Tony the tiger? Could Tony the tiger go on the list?
No.
What's wrong with you?
He's.
You just don't like animals the same way.
Yeah, no, I
Like
don't.
I'm not.
I just Zootopia
Look
Tony.
at Tony the tiger walked. Click this. I need to see this so that
Oh
someone.
my God.
Tony the tiger walked so the tiger from Zootopia could run.
This one that they flashed. He's flashed on the train for 2 fucking seconds. No, come on, man.
Listen, I didn't make the internet, okay?
Like this, like the mayor. That's
Does
the one-
Alicia have a villain kink, Shere Khan? I definitely have a villain kink. Are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, she does.
Borderline
Yes.
Voldemort.
She wants to be Maleficent, honestly.
Maleficent's the best character.
I know.
We have a birthday. We share a birthday. Okay. Anyways.
Click that one
Dear
for
God, the
everyone's
TOS
enjoyment.
gods, please have mercy. Hello there, how's it going? Hey, Joseph. We're kind of talking about parasocial relationships, but right now we're talking about Zootopia and some people's parasocial... Is that Nala dressed as a cop? A sexy cop? That is what that is.
Oh wow, that's actually a really good.
Nala's hotter than Mufasa by like a long shot.
High key.
You know, yeah, I like Nala. She has Lola Bunny vibes.
Yeah, serving Lila Bunny vibes, 100%.
Yeah, I'm into it. God damn, what did I walk into? Voldemort is a daddy. Voldemort's not a daddy. No, I said borderline. Like, if... Okay, so...
Voldemort is. There's nothing attractive about Voldemort. Come on now.
It might be Ray Fiennes.
Yeah,
for me.
we're talking about parasociality, and we're updating the daddy and the mommy list.
So, yeah, actually, Joseph's new enough that he has no idea what we're talking
I
about.
know we haven't brought that up in a hot minute, honestly.
I brought it up, like, relatively recently,
Okay,
and I think
okay.
we talked about it. Like, we haven't done this in a while.
For
Let's
some
put it
rea-
back to
for
just
some-
chatting.
For some reason, we're really into the animals right now. And I'm
Do you know
not
how
really-
much useful it
Oh,
would...
that is not it.
Sorry,
sorry, guys.
Back. Anyways, so you were saying? I can't remember.
I was gonna say the animals aren't doing it for me, but anyways.
We talked about Robin Hood.
Oh yeah, okay, but Robin Hood could get it.
Yeah.
The fox.
Okay, so yeah. Right? I don't know. And so the argument Voldemort doesn't have a nose. Do you know how many times or how much like value it would have to not have to worry about breathing through your nose in certain situations? Like, that's an issue.
What?
I don't know how much more explicitly I should explain it, but
Sorry, you regularly have issues breathing through your nose, and
while performing cunnilingus, yeah.
oh, that.
So not having a nose would be super valuable if you wanted Voldemort to like get down there.
Yeah,
It's not an issue.
Yeah.
It gets in the way.
Who the fuck wants Voldemort to go down on them? That is freaking me out. Honestly.
Not me, but I'm just saying, like, practically that's not the reason why I wouldn't want that, is because of the nose. The nose doesn't, that's not the reason. It's because he's pure evil, which is kind of like why I'm also like, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, fundamentally the bottom line answer is no, but it wasn't an immediate no in my head, but not because of the nose. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Brings us back to the Harry Potter reference that you were talking about. You know, people have very visceral feeling for that. That's why, you know.
It's one of the most researched ones in like the modern parasocial relationship stuff.
100%.
Which is interesting because when I was listening to that podcast with the girl that's like doing her thesis in this, she was talking about how like, you know, think about Harry Potter and then like, but put aside J.K. Rowling, right? Because people have, our parasocial relationship with J.K. Rowling very much got broken. If you're any sort of sensible human being or were a Harry Potter fan. We used to think that she was the person that created our like, you know, imaginary heroes and like this world that we wanted to live in and that sort of thing, and then just decimated that. So there's like parasocial grief. And, you know, we were talking about David Bowie and Robin Williams and Princess Diana and stuff like that, right?
I can fix her.
We
have the resources. We have the power.
Who are you fixing?
Oh no, okay.
Oh, Bellatrix.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck. Have you seen her teeth? Ugh. Bellatrix Lestrange's teeth?
Those are just Helena Bonham Carter's teeth, bro.
Those are prosthetics.
Are they?
They're bad. Look at Bellatrix's teeth.
I was gonna say, Helena Bonham Carter is British, bro.
Savage. No, but they're like rotting in the show.
Oh, yeah, well. Okay, no. So I thought you just meant the shape. Okay.
No. I meant like they're like gross.
Yeah.
Ooh, Stan from Eminem is beginning to be an example from pop culture about parasocial relationships. Yeah, that's a very good example of that.
That's actually, that crosses over into pathology because...
Yeah, doesn't he?
So yeah.
Get content warning. Doesn't he?
Yeah.
Self-harm?
Huh?
Doesn't he self-harm? I can't remember. I haven't watched Stan in a minute.
So he murders his wife and child.
Right.
Because he thinks that the artist is trying to like communicate with him. So erotomania is like being in love or thinking that somebody is in love with you or having such an intense parasocial relationship that you, like, will cause harm to yourself or to others or try to cause harm to the other person. And it's this delusion that they are in love with you or they know who you are and they, like, want to be in your life.
Bruh, Alicia Teeth, you just talked about how Wizard Hitler not having a nose was a good thing. No, I said it was not the reason that I wouldn't. Different story. Very subtle distinction. Not a good thing, but wouldn't be a bad thing. To just like be able to take it off and like just not having to deal with a nose in that specific situation could be beneficial is all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. I see.
Wouldn't necessarily be bad.
Just take the nose off.
You take your nose off.
Just wears a prosthetic
People
nose.
lose their nose from syphilis back in the day and we got like a little fake nose. That was a thing. People probably took off their noses.
People lose their nose now from doing too many drugs.
Usually just the septum. Not the whole nose. Anyways, I'm just saying if we can look past no nose, we can look past bad teeth. Yeah, well, I've personally dated someone with horrible teeth.
I've not had to deal with that.
Yeah. You know, personality isn't in your teeth, usually.
I was gonna say, but like, I don't know. Meth teeth, drawing a line.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Well, because it's reflective of like other behavioral like capacities and stuff like that. You know, like if you let it get to that point. like, what type of person are you, you know?
Yeah.
But what was their nose like? It was an okay nose. He had an okay nose.
An okay nose.
Oh yeah, so there an example that they used from like way back in the day, like before technology, was being a patron of the arts. So like the Sistine Chapel and stuff like that, like having an artist that was like an artist in residence and being a patron of that, like literal painter artist, is to some of these researchers an example of like a very early version of a parasocial relationship. Because we don't know like how they actually related to that person, but they were like, you know, potentially, especially if you're paying them and monetizing it, right? It's kind of like an influencer back in the day, like, oh, do you have a Michelangelo?
Yeah, I guess
it's the hottest
true.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
King Henry VIII has one.
Yeah,
you know,
especially if they're like those artists are clearly like famous at that time.
Yeah.
So
have you tried hair gummies? Kim Kardashian uses them. You know, it's the same. Like you just have to replace the stuff, and it's kind of the same tone. I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
yeah, that actually is.
Syphilis, more like sniffilus. Is Lord Farquaad a daddy?
Absolutely not. What? Freaking Fork, you're giving the worst examples right now.
I didn't like that. Is Shrek a daddy?
Oh!
Human Shrek. Lots of people like Human Shrek. It doesn't do it for me, but
Okay.
I would accept someone adding that to the daddy list and like not, you know, think it was super contentious. It's just like it just doesn't do it for me. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, then we can let it.
Do you want him on the list? He can go on the list.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll let it marinate.
We'll let it marinate.
We'll let it marinate. Yeah. Who else? Oh, Sirius Black, I think, could go on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman in general. Did we
Yeah.
already add him?
I think we may have.
And we forgot.
Yeah. That sounds like us.
We really should write it down, shouldn't we?
I think we started writing it down somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Does that say daddy list? No.
I don't know. I don't really want to dig that much.
Yeah, I understand.
But Henry Cavill is Human Shrek. Yeah, a little bit. Ogre Shrek should be on the list.
No.
What's wrong? Freaking Fork.
I know, just
attend
the
therapy.
most random. Oh my god.
I'm joking. I'm not joking. Therapy is great. Do it anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, also just like talk to them
To
about
reference our
these like
previous-
the Shrek obsession. It's just any male character in Shrek you seem to be.
Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
Yeah, that's a weird. The irony cults are weird, man. Ogre Shrek, Henry Cavill, Shrek is life. LOL, what? Yeah, you guys. Lordy.
Why did you write about? Oh, because people
'Cause-
had. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so one of the researchers also talked about, and this is like political, but the fact that you can leverage just even exposure in parasocial relationships, and that can influence things in politics, and to some people is a theoretical reason why Donald Trump got into power, because people had been exposed to him in a non-political sphere, because usually when we think about politics, we're always critiquing, right?
Yeah.
It's very rarely a positive thing, but we had seen that individual for entertainment for many years
100%.
prior, so people, it was more palatable, even if it wasn't like super great and enjoyable, it was already present, so it wasn't as much of a shock to the system.
Well, yeah, and people would have already related to his personality and him as a celebrity, so that actually makes sense. That actually makes me feel better about him getting elected in the first place.
People talk about the you could grab a beer with him effect kind of thing, like with Obama, like, oh yeah, you know, you forget about war crimes and stuff like that because you could grab a beer with the guy. You know, that's what they said in this.
Yeah.
This is like almost a direct quote from the podcast I was listening to, not necessarily things that I believe. But yeah, people talk about that being able to like influence political things and, you know, just airtime and like exposure.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of
Let's
like
kind
one
of
of
mention
your
that earlier. Yeah, like the more platforms they're on, right?
Yeah, and it's like it adds up. Puss in Boots, Antonio Banderas.
Why?
This DreamWorks thing.
Fanaticism.
Yeah. Okay, DK, I gotta bounce. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for being here. See you. Have a good night. I'll keep the brain cell secret. I'll keep it safe. Put it in like a Holy Grail style, like trunk little box.
Bring it to the fires of Mount Boom, apparently.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Lame.
gonna pop up for 2 seconds.
Okay.
BRB.
Just consult my notes here, fellow peeps.
Fellow teenagers.
Hi there, fellow kids. 'Tis I. You guys know how good my notes are. I just wrote dead people. We already talked about that. Yeah. How's everybody doing? Yeah. Just wait for Layla to get back. Looking at all of these Bellatrix costumes, I've thought about going as Bellatrix for Halloween, but like my hair is just so radically different. Layla could totally do it. Yeah. It's interesting stuff. Man, Harry Potter, hey? Just gonna go ahead and close this, you guys. Ugh. Who are you guys' like favorite characters of things? I would be interested to know, because like when we were talking about the research that's like pick your favorite character and then someone that you know and like who would you be more sad about dying and stuff like that, I couldn't think of like a character that I'm like particularly like invested in like such a fashion off the top of my head. And I don't know if that's like something that's common, that like people usually have like their favorite character. Like, I don't know, obviously I really like Sirius Black from Harry Potter, but like I just think he's a cool character and that it was, you know, written in a way that was interesting to me. So anyways, nine brain cells were gifted to the race of men who above all else desire power. For within these brain cells was bound the strength and the will to govern over each race. But they were all of them deceived, for another brain cell was made. 2 brain cells? That's double the brain cells. That's great. There's definitely a relation between the exposure to someone and the level of attraction you feel towards them. Yeah, I think there's definitely research about that. Like, I don't know that attraction in the scientific sense is necessarily the appropriate word to use there, but it would certainly be more palatable. Like, it would be like anything that you're exposed to over and over again, you start to habituate to, if we want to get like to like a scientific brass tacks actual neuroscience level, you habituate to basically, and there's the potential to habituate to basically anything in your environment, right? So yeah, why wouldn't that apply to you know, things that, you know, we're desensitized to things in the media, you know, like it used to be something that they would make a whole movie and there would be lots of controversy about school shootings, and now it's just kind of like, oh, another one happened. Not that that's how it should be necessarily, nor is that how I feel personally, but it certainly is something that like collectively as a society has been, you know, adjusted in terms of its sensationalism and our reactivity to it, right? So, you know, stands to reason that that would influence one's feelings or attraction, or, you know, to use your word. But yeah, Joseph was saying that there's a relationship between the exposure to someone and the level of attraction that you feel towards them. And I was just talking about like literal habituation in your brain. You know, like you don't necessarily have to like the thing to get used to it. Like, you know, if there's an annoying noise, people habituate to the fire, or like the switch your battery out of your fire alarm smoke detector.
Oh my God,
all the people habituate to that all the time. I don't, but
I absolutely do not.
yeah, but some people, I've like watched YouTube videos where like people have it beeping in the background. I'm like, are you? Remember we were in the Airbnb and there was the carbon monoxide light, and I was like,
You were not okay.
I flashing lights to sleep with it, and you're just like, doesn't bother me. But anyways, I'm peculiar, so
I was also facing away from it, but yeah.
I guess so. Trying to think. I thought I had like so much to say about this, but I guess like we just kind of burned through a lot of
I
content.
know, we got
right?
really excited about it right at the beginning, and then we just zipped through.
It's like been literally regarding the like political stuff. I was thinking, just like from my own personal perspective, or maybe not political, but like my real world exposure to things like how intelligence agencies work, or how policing works, or government and stuff like that, for the most part, does not come from deep research into that area, right? It comes from being exposed to something on media like House of Cards and being like, is that real? Could that actually happen? And having that spark, that idea. And I wonder, like, not everybody would, lots of people report things, they're like, oh, well, I saw on a, thing, and they're talking about, like, CSI or something. I'm like, ma'am, that's television. They do laboratory stuff in the dark. Yeah, but, like, people sometimes will report things that have been presented as factual in the fiction as if it's real. And sometimes there's shows that are really well researched that are true. Like, people talk about Interstellar being like pretty realistic.
Well, Inside Out as well is one of the first movies to ever actually have like
a consulting
like psychologists working on it.
I didn't know that they did. That's cool. I mean, it's now obvious to think about, but first time chat. Hey, welcome. Pin nerd. I don't know what that pin. We'll just go pin. What about attraction in a metaphysical sense? What do you think the gravity beyond the perception of physics? Essentially the gravity of events throughout the I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I am trying to understand that question.
Ask me like I'm 5.
Yeah, high key.
Yeah, but attraction is a nebulous concept, I suppose. But
yeah, I don't think that actual gravity has anything to do with attraction, or else everybody would be really attracted to obese people.
Yeah, or if it does, it wouldn't be perceptible to us because, gravity probably affects a lot of things that we can't perceive and see. So then it kind of becomes inconsequential. Yep. Though, obviously very consequential in our day-to-day existence. Jenna Marbles, that's another one that I'm just thinking of examples of like, when parasocial things have happened en masse and that people have noticed. Like when Jenna Marbles retired from the internet, even if you weren't a Jenna Marbles fan, people like shat. It was crazy. Yeah, and people still talk about it. Like it's a thing.
You know what's so interesting though, and it's like a whole other phenomenon, but it is a little related to this, is the phenomenon of apology videos on YouTube. And those you definitely could say is an exploitation of like our prosociality, empathy, and parasociality.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
But it's really interesting because there's a lot of people who say that like Jenna Marbles is one of the few people who did it right, who was like, I fucked up and I'm actually going to change the way I did it. And it was not
Did she do an apology video? I didn't.
Yes,
she did
for the blackface. Yeah, and that's why she quit. That's how she quit the internet primarily. Is
I thought that she just dipped.
Yeah, she did an apology video, and there's a lot of content that talks about if you literally just like cut down those videos to just the crying. It's like multiple minutes, and we're talking about a video that was edited and uploaded, right? So like they edited all of that crying into that to literally manipulate you emotionally. Isn't that wild?
Or to virtue signal.
Yes,
which is a way to emotionally manipulate people, I suppose. It's funny that you bring that up because I'm on YouTube pretty frequently. Like I'm a consumer of YouTube content pretty regularly. And so I follow this, I think I've spoken about him before. He's a political Canadian YouTuber called JJ McCullough, and he does like the, why do we have the certain flavors of candy? Why is it lemon, lime, cherry, and, why is blue raspberry sometimes there and sometimes not, but lemon and lime always are. Anyways. So it's just kind of interesting, like factual, really nicely researched content where he like holds the books that he read them from. And anyways, he did a YouTube short talking about someone's apology video, and said, this is one of the few ones that doesn't seem disingenuous. And I actually watched it. I've never heard of the YouTuber who it was, but I just was like, because I have a parasocial relationship built on a little bit of trust with JJ, I went and checked out the apology video with zero context. And it was very interesting to watch. And
do you remember who it was?
I can find out by looking at my history. It's someone that's huge, and probably people would know who it is, but I don't know. I go in my own little niche.
I have this feeling it's going to be like, I don't know, David Dobrik or something like that.
No. I'll find it. Stand by. Hold, please. Anyways,
Yeah.
when I was watching it, like, I haven't made, like, my own full kind of, like, development of what I really believe about that. I really got back into, like, the Charlie Sheen Tiger Blood thing recently, so that's most of my history.
Oh my god.
Is just trying to understand that, and, like, because I never really got into it when it was happening, and then the patch clamp
Hashtag
electrophysiology.
winning.
Yes, exactly.
Win there, win here, win there.
I'm by winning.
I'm by winning.
Where is it? Maybe I should just go to JJ's thing. I also have been watching people do puzzles.
So people actually do puzzle content on YouTube.
They do.
You should
This
do
guy,
puzzle content.
iDubbbz TV.
For a while, I felt
Oh,
like
it's long. Like, it's like 17 minutes long.
Oh, Jesus.
And honestly, I wouldn't not recommend watching it. I don't know some of the stuff that he's referring to, but apparently there was some, like, I don't know, hateful and bad stuff, and he just, like, is pretty good at owning up to it. No tears. Acknowledges the damage and is like, all the proceeds from this video are going to go to this. I know that doesn't even make a dent, and, you know, I'm keeping on working on this. This is how I got here. And, like, to my fans that are like, I miss the old one, you know, reevaluate, because I used to be the type of person that would engender this sort of behavior, and now that I look at this, I see how harmful it is, and I was like, all right, like, I didn't immediately go, like, performative, you know, whatever. Though, of course, people are making them and uploading them to YouTube for a reason, right? You know, like...
Well, that's the thing, is another thing in that video I was watching is, like, if you monetize it, it makes it look bad, right?
Yeah, well, depending on what you do with the money, and assuming that you trust the person to do what they're saying they're doing with the money, right? Because lots of people, you know, the, what's that thing at the website that you can get people to, like...
Like Kickstarter?
Yeah, or, like, GoFundMe.
Yeah.
When people, like, there's been scandals where people have made fake things, or, like,
throw it around.
Anyways, I mean, graphically is physical attraction to mass. There's mass in...
Events. What?
Yeah. The concept of real world is quite interesting. We all live in the same world, but everyone has a really different perception. Yeah, you guys are getting into, like, philosophy and consciousness, which is, like, super not what we're talking about today. But have at her in the chat there. Doesn't he do the Canadian accent? He definitely has.
iDubbbz is a really great YouTuber. You can see the growth he's had in his content responding from doing really stupid shit to organizing boxing events.
Yeah, I can't weigh in on how I feel about this person based on one video, because that would be a bad science move to make a conclusion based on one data point. But from what it sounds like, based on his own self-report, it sounds like he was kind of a terrible person up until relatively recently, and that he's working on himself, so good for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so Get a Grip asked if apology videos even, like, matter. Is it just better to just, like, not respond? And I think it depends on the type of offense, right? Because this kind of gets into, like, what is cancel culture? How does cancel culture...
Well,
like,
if you've caused harm and there's a way to rectify that harm, I think that, like, the morally correct thing to do, in my opinion, which is very subjective, would be, an apology is just the beginning. Yeah, so absolutely you should, but it really, I think, is situationally dependent.
100%. And I think it depends. If it's, like, something that's, like, would be considered, like, a very minor sort of infraction, like, you offended, like, one person, like, that might be different. But I think, like, you know, for instance, I like, you know, the people that you make videos with, there was, like, a sexual assault allegation there or something like that, then you should definitely acknowledge it and say, you know, like, this is how I found out about this, and you know, I really hope that this never happens again.
That happened with the Try Guys. One of them is no longer a Try Guy because he diddled an assistant. Video producer.
He cheated on his wife with his assistant.
I think it was the worklish relationship and the power dynamic that they were problematic with. But no, it's definitely an interesting kind of thing to think about. Sure.
I feel like our content generation had the concept of attention as a resource, and that not apologizing preys upon this concept a bit.
I mean, attention is a resource. I think that's inarguable. It really is. If you can't yeah, it's like kind of a fundamental part of acquiring things. You have to orient towards something and pay attention to it to acquire it, whether it's
There's a video where what's his face that did Inside? What is his name? The comedian that I'm completely blanking on his name right now.
a comedian that did Inside.
The Netflix special. Get a Grip, help me please.
Inside. Bo Burnham?
Bo Burnham, thank you.
Look at that. Usually it's the other way around that I'm saying but you said actual things that helped. Yeah. I just say pure nonsense and but you get there. No, that's because she knows my brain.
Bo Burnham has this, he did like an interview or something where he talks about how young people and their like attention span and like the content that they consume is like, their consummation, their consuming of that content is like the biggest resource, and that these companies, Facebook, TikTok, etc., want to literally capture every minute of that time because that is, using parasociality, using good marketing, etc., in order to essentially sell products. And you know how many people buy just random shit off TikTok because somebody that they follow and trust has told them to, or is like, oh yeah, this changed my life. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's 100% a thing.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, people like data right now is one of the biggest, what's what I'm looking
resources.
Resources, like most valuable resources right now, but I think attention is like definitely the next step.
Yeah, well, and like in so much as they're, not interrelated and intrinsically, you can't sell someone to someone that's not paying attention, right? But I think the other thing to acknowledge is that paying attention to things that trigger your reward system fundamentally changes your brain and sensitizes it. So it doesn't matter if it's a drug that's pharmaceutical or behavior like gambling or behavior like scrolling or any of these things that are intrinsically meant to keep you doing them, especially ones that are human designed and behavioral. There's evidence to suggest that the structural brain changes are very much analogous to those that are elicited by pharmaceuticals or street drugs, right? It truly is in a lot of ways addictive. I would hesitate to use that phrase because there is like medical and actual research connotations depending on if you're using it in like a colloquial or a scientific context. So like don't think that I'm saying this in like an absolute fashion, but there's been research into some of this area, right?
There's a reason that there's a lot of evidence coming out that people do not recommend letting your teenagers use social media because it will fundamentally change their
or limit it to the very least, right? And that's like, I mean, this is completely like a tangent, but like people talk about dopamine detoxes and stuff like that, which isn't a thing, by the way. Go back to a VOD, but that's the reason that's become a thing. So. Oh, talking about YouTubers, have you heard about Joji and his Filthy Frank past? I am very aware. Yeah. Do you know about that? You know Joji.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know who Joji is?
I don't YouTube.
Okay, but so I didn't know that Joji had a YouTube past, but someone told me that, oh, did you know Joji used to be a YouTuber and he did like really like unhinged content? And Joji makes like sad Gen Z music / a little bit like sometimes sexy times music.
Okay. Maybe I do. I probably heard a song or two.
I'll play like just a fraction of a song and you'll be like, oh, that guy. I quite like some of his music. I don't know what the content of the Filthy Frank stuff was. Why are you not working? What's your problem? Jesus.
Friggin' fork, I think you just come up with an extremely financially valuable idea.
He said, perhaps in the future, fake AI videos will... Oh. Yeah, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah. Anyways.
He said, perhaps in the future, fake AI videos will come out to hijack
known parasocial relationships.
Known parasocial relationships for profit and indoctrination.
I think that's already happening. People are using AI of themselves to make content easily without effort.
I was actually going to say, recently there have been a few videos that have come up. So it's like AI generated Harry Potter. There's one that like went super viral, which is the why can't my brain is not working today?
Proximity to me, I'm like a electromagnet.
Wes Anderson is.
Oh
like,
my sweet Jesus!
Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, well, it just went Wes Andersoning anything. Like, people were, like, playing Hoop in the Hood.
Yeah.
And, like, as if Wes Anderson's directing it or whatever. Yeah, not for me. Though I like Wes Anderson, I don't know. It's, yeah.
And I think if you can create content like that, that is going to obviously create a visceral reaction, but it has, you know, it creates a relationship with an individual who's maybe not even real, then 100%.
Yeah. Oh, maybe this has relation with the neuromarketing I mentioned. 100% it does, yeah. Yeah, I would say that this is like a very decently crossed over Venn diagram. Joji had a YouTube channel that was really weird, making really strong videos with him pointing guns. Oh. Oh. Well, that's not great.
Personality called Pink Guy that actually made music. So like,
I saw like a fraction of one video and I was like, this is not for me. And
was it like very aggro? Like,
no, it was like he was like sprinting around on all fours talking about hot dogs or something. I don't know. It was really just unhinged like batshit stuff. And like that's me saying this. So just like,
yeah,
let that contextualize how fucking just ridiculous it is. But the absurdity and like unhingedness of Gen Z humor is also something that like I'm like, does it just...
You're not on board.
Well, no, I'm on board for some of it. I like weird shit, but like sometimes...
You like the dark humor. You love the...
I do like the dark humor, and there is some of that in Gen Z humor, but sometimes it seems like just being weird for weird's sake, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we all did it. We all wanted to do the thing that was counterculture. That's a thing. We all did it. Like, you know, no one's reinventing the wheel here.
Well, keep in mind that the majority of Gen Z are in their late teens and early 20s right now. So that is the time to rebel. That chaotic, right?
And I mean, it's not problematic. It's just not my taste again. I look at it and I'm like, why? Anyways. I wouldn't say without effort the effort.
Just mitigate with still effort and trying to get a vision out.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, that was a casual passerby thing based on, okay, so I have, there's a couple of accounts that I follow on, like, say, TikTok or something. Like, actually, I don't use TikTok. I'm, like, such a boomer, and I watch them, like, recycled once they get onto other social media. So, anyways, there's this one girl.
I do that on Facebook, so that's the most boomer version of that. Anyways, continue.
So, there's a content creator that, talks about how to like create better content, like if you're going to make a TikTok, like how to use the hashtags and stuff like that. And they were talking about how to make a TikTok using AI, and it was basically using like a deep fake of yourself kind of thing. So there's a way to do it. I hadn't explored it, but I just saw it in content. So yeah, people are doing it.
Damn.
So and certainly not effortlessly, but less effort than making the actual video, content, right? Yeah. It's a little
like there's like ChatGPT makes your content, and then you do a deep fake, and then you're done.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, again, these are tools and that aren't inherently evil, right? Tools are neutral. How people use them can be good or bad, right?
I was gonna say you brought this up in your last video, and I was like, that's the same argument that people use against gun control, and I was like, anyways.
That's a really good fucking point.
Yeah, it's actually, I don't know,
It's, okay, but a tool and a weapon are two different things, right? That the beginning of Arrival has that very argument in it. You know, the lexicon is different there, tool and weapon, you know, the crossover. I would argue that I don't consider a gun a tool. So, you know, in my definition, yeah. But if I were to, then I would back up my opinion because of gun control. Yeah, that's a great fucking point.
He had a psychological problem and said he wouldn't delete the videos because it's evidence that people can change with therapy. You need therapy. Nice.
Yeah, we all need therapy. Go to therapy. Okay, I'll accept that.
Also, the other day you talked about your 20s like it was so long ago, but you don't look older than 25 elbows. Are you talking to Alicia or me? Because
Alicia has a nebulous age. She is a bog hag who doesn't, timeless. Really.
Yeah,
And I don't mean timeless in like the good way. I
she
mean
eats
timeless.
the hearts of stars to stay young.
I like that book / movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
Underrated.
it's super underrated. Watch Stardust. Read Stardust. It's a lot more like spicy in the book.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They be boinking. Yeah. I don't eat the hearts of stars. I quite like stars, but I would eat the hearts of like, I don't know. I don't know that I'm an aspiring vegetarian, you guys. I don't know that I would eat the heart of anything to stay young.
Okay. I feel like the absurdist humor is driven by the likely absurdist view of the times we live in. T. What other generation lives in a time where tons of info is available everywhere of everything, to include all the terrible stuff happening in the world 24/7? You're absolutely right. So
Yeah.
I actually remember asking my parents. I was like, because I'm like a cusper for Gen Z and millennial, and I was asking my parents, I was like, did so many bad things happen to you before you were like the age of like 25? Because I lived in the States growing up, so I lived through 9/11, then the 2008 financial crisis, then, in my opinion, Trump getting elected, then the entire Trump presidency, and then the COVID-19 pandemic, and I'm sure there's something else in there that I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I was just like, why is everything so hard? Like, why, Yeah.
Well, like, we're constantly being reminded that it's hard. I think that's maybe the difference
and
with like the saturation of media availability is like not necessarily that we went through harder or not harder
that we were
things.
super aware that we were going.
Yeah,
through,
you
because
can't forget
constantly-
it.
Yes, exactly.
You cannot
and
forget
I think that's
it.
part of it, because they were like, well, like, no, not necessarily, but they also didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
there's probably something happening in, like, I don't know, freaking some other country that the U.S. was, like, invading while they were, like, growing up, but they don't know about it.
Yeah, well, and, like, we're privileged as fuck to live in Canada,
Yeah.
and, like, there's actively wars happening in other places right now, but things are relative, and you're allowed to, feel feelings and stuff like that, too, right? Why do we have Pedro Pascal?
Oh, do you eat the hearts of artichokes and lettuce to stay young?
Yeah, I like romaine hearts and artichoke hearts. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Omega-3 fatty acids and lots of fiber and stuff, like.
Ooh,
That's good.
that should be when we get to a stream.
Neuronutrition?
Or a stream. A follower goal. We should just have you eat different hearts of either vegetables
Well, then evaluate how young I look?
or animals. You're like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Have you eaten organs before?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Heart, liver. I lived on a farm.
It's
I've eaten
true.
most shit.
Yeah.
If it won't kill me, I'll try it once.
It's a good mentality to have.
It's not. It's very bad. You should try things that you like, or think you might like. Yeah. Evening, the Xeron Elite. Good evening, the Xeron. Welcome, first time chatter. Hello, I'm Neuroalicia. That's Layla.
Hello.
We're talking about parasocial relationships, kind of.
Yeah, we've gone off on a bit of a tangent. Now we've started talking
Which
about...
is very on brand for us.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. I remember you from Corey's stream. Oh, welcome. That's great. Thank you for swinging by and checking things out. Yeah, I hope you liked the content on Corey's stream. I had a lot of fun doing that. So, cooking stream for your follower goal? Yeah, we need to do, first of all, the games one, but, like, I was thinking, like, straight up hot ones, like, just trying some hot sauce. I know people would be doing that on the internet and stuff. I think it would be really fucking funny.
I actually think your spice tolerance is higher than mine, which actually is a complete disgrace to my Desi blood, but, you know what? I'm down, let's do it.
Gang. What follow goal should it be?
820.
Listen, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Okay.
And we can choose the spice levels. Like, we don't have to do, like, a prescriptive version of it, though that's probably the easiest thing to buy.
Yeah, to kind of go
But
up the...
I've tried the one that everyone, like, loses their minds about on Hot Ones, the bomb.
I thought everyone...
Beyond insanity.
I thought the bomb was the gross one. I've heard people say that it's, like, not... It doesn't have any flavor.
It's not delightful.
Yeah, was it you that had all the different types of hot sauce? There was somebody. I can't remember.
I don't remember. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, cooking stream? I don't know. cooking on stream? What would we cook? Have a little barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of us has a barbecue. What would we do?
Yeah, I know.
Haggis is delicious. Yeah. I've only tried like blood pudding and stuff like that, and it was all right.
Gross. I would try haggis. People have said it's very tasty, and I think that's the one thing that I could probably go for organs. Yeah, like my grandfather used to raise cattle, R.I.P., and he would just have like cow hearts and tongues and all the different organs just chilling in the freezer, and I was like, this is kind of gross, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them. Like, I don't like crave
Yes.
liver, you know?
Yeah, if you were deficient in some specific, probably iron or something like that.
Oh, I
you
have
probably
been.
would.
I was. Remember, I had to go get my blood Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I
I
was
was
mistaken. I think
life-threateningly iron deficient, actually.
organs are really good for providing certain specific nutrients, right?
Big time there. Our liver is super iron rich,
Yeah.
but it's gross. So I just take a pill. But feel free to call me Zero. All right, cool. Welcome, Zero. And yeah. Hey, hi, how are you?
Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to the
Plot
storm.
twist, white girl can eat spice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just because I do doesn't mean I'm good at it. Just because you do something doesn't mean you're good at it. You know, like maybe I just suffer.
I'm a grad student,
Yeah,
but I'm like
life
good
is
at
pain.
it.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I found interesting is that I very rarely interact with larger streamers.
I stick around when I end up being more part of the community than mere audience. Well,
Parasocial relationship.
parasocial relationship. I was actually
Yeah.
gonna say Alicia specifically, because she does her Friday streams as well at 8 p.m. is very good about interacting with the chat. I'll sit here
We're
and
pretty good.
thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like I'll sit here and we'll just like vibe, but you're very much like talking to.
I think that you're more attentive to
Really?
the chat when we're in here.
Really, that's funny.
Isn't that funny? Anyways, the whole point of us doing Vulgar Science is that, like, that was the thing.
Yeah.
This was originally going to be a podcast. We when we were first kind of
Yeah.
conceptualizing it, and then we were like, yeah, chat would be cool, because then you could, like, in
Like,
real time
yes,
talk
get
about
input
things.
from,
Yeah, well, and correct people, especially when we're talking about science stuff, you know, if there's, like, bad facts floating around and, you know, that sort of thing, and then we could correct that, and, you know, not in, like, a obnoxious way, but, like, a correct misinformation sort of way,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah. I completely relate to that. I definitely spend more time watching streams of people that I have, like, a real relationship or a parasocial relationship with. Like Science and Risto and, what's the... I'm blanking, but other people is the point.
Dougie?
No,
Maybe?
but I sorry, I was talking specifically about
Oh,
parasocial
okay.
relationships. Doug is my real life friend.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking after Hoon. Gotta grab Spoicy.
Spoice.
I used to.
Gold.
Ooh, Sag.
Gallbladder?
Gallbladder, probably. I'm assuming you don't have a god bladder. That is god tier bladder. Just never needs to pee.
Jesus loves my bladder.
Jesus loves your pee. Do you find yourself interacting more with people in chat or the streamer usually? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like, valuable to, like, I think it's more endearing to have, like, an actual connection with people. And I enjoy interacting with chat more than just sitting there and me talking. Because I get to listen to me talking all the time, you know? I'm an only child. You get to listen to me all the time. You're like, chat, pipe up so she shuts the fuck up. Yeah. But
I was gonna say, honestly, it's hilarious because Alicia and I, we work in the same lab. We have the same graduate supervisor. And so on days where it's us in the lab together, and sometimes there's other people, our neurodivergent asses are just like vocal stimming. And the other day, we went, wee 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 wee, and then our friends were like, oh, there's a Doja Cat song that has that in there. So then we started playing it, and then immediately goes, wee wee, and we're just like, what the fuck is happening? It was a bop though, honestly.
Well, like, we'd be quiet for approximately, like, a minute and a half, and then someone would just be like, like just mutter
Just
something
talk
under their
to
breath,
yourself,
like that's not even directed at the other person, and then we both just burst out laughing. Like I don't know, it's a hell of a time.
Yeah, that's when I found out that I apparently speak in the Desi accent
Yeah,
to
you
myself
do.
on a regular
Yeah,
basis.
you definitely
which-
do. You're like, what the fuck?
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
To be clear, she is of that
I am-
lineage,
yes,
so
yeah.
this isn't just doing a racist
My
accent.
father is Pakistani, so
Yeah.
we're not.
Allowed. Yeah. I used to have a high school. We got that one. Dee-doo-dee. Often both. A good half of. Why can't I read?
Streaming tends to be better than a podcast. You can handle moderating the chaos.
Mm.
I moderate. Oh, he's Corey's moderator.
Oh, cool.
Nice, sick. Well, welcome.
Yeah, cool.
Only child, half brother, but yeah, we all have half and step siblings. Do we consider them
Yeah.
to be our siblings? Meh.
Yeah, I speak about my sister, but we're not related in blood at all, nor are we similar people in any way, shape, or form. But I'm related to her in that way, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was honestly very excited to meet her. She did not seem very excited to meet me. It was one of the limpest handshakes I've ever had in my life.
I think you were the only one that she actually interacted with.
Because I went up to her and
Yeah,
was like,
forced
hi,
it, yeah.
and then she's
like
she was like,
I
do
know.
not touch me.
I asked her, I was just like,
Okay.
I was like, you don't want me to introduce you, and she's like, no, thank
No,
you,
no thanks.
and then like left. Some people I don't even think noticed that she was there.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. She's herself. Neurodivergent for life. Neurodivergent choir. Oh. Well, I'm gonna clean the lab before I leave, so I'll lurk for a bit. Clean the lab.
Oh.
Like wet lab, like a bench space. I know you said you're some sort of scientist, but I can't remember because I'm bad at remembering. Thanks for the lurk. Yes, indeed, thanks for the lurk. My half-brother is my brother, just we are more close cousins and dynamic. Recently discovered he's a transphobic near incel.
Love that.
Oopie. Yeah. That would be like a mortal enemy for me.
Yeah, I was like, that's not the move.
Yeah, it's tough to like manage those sorts of dynamics, and like it's relating it to parasocial relationships. When someone that you like turns out to be shitty, people have problems disengaging from that. You know, like Kevin Spacey, Bill Cosby, those sorts of things. Like it starts to become you have to separate the art from the artist. Becomes like a mainstay of a lot of counter arguments to the cancel culture, and like they cancel themselves, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know, like you could have just not done the bad thing, and then wouldn't be an issue. You know, but in any event, without getting into like too crazy a territory there, I think it's just interesting. Even navigating for me, like Louis C.K., I used to find him very, very, very funny. And then turns out he's like grody, and then figuring that out, having that happen, I then like went back and was like, do I actually find him funny? And then I went back and I was like, I don't think I do. I like it totally changed the tone. Yeah. Well, and then it kind of, I don't know, this is also part of like my feminist awakening, and being in abusive relationships and stuff like that is like changes your perspective on things a lot. And I realized that lots of things that I like professed to like were actually just things that I was like going along to get along. And I'm like, if I just like sat back and was like, is that my taste? Hard no. But it's funny that sometimes the triggers for me were a parasocial breakdown kind of thing,
Yeah.
or like the downfall of someone that I thought was good, or whatever. So, yeah. La, la, la.
Oh wow.
Being non-binary, bi, and closeted to family, it sucks. Yeah, you are those things. Is that what I'm to understand here? Hello, bi. I'm also bi.
Hello, bi. I'm also bi.
Little bi community here.
Vibes.
I'm studying biotechnology.
Biotechnology.
Yeah. Hey.
Please shoot me.
Bisexual finger guns, anyone?
I've already done them multiple times this stream.
Engineering, and I'm working with microalgae in the lab. Cool. Nice
Sick.
pics. Oh, we should make a microscopy or like science pics thing on the Discord. That'd be cool. Because if you got like cool microscopy pics, we have pet pics.
Yeah.
Drop your pet pics in the fucking Discord.
Bro, science
SVP.
be dropping the pet pics all the time, and I'm
Every
like,
day.
yes, gimme.
They've got 3 cats,
Oh,
right?
obsessed.
And they're really cute. Yeah. Anyways, that's cool. I'm sorry about that. Hope you find a safe space to be yourself. Yeah. Same. Yeah. I'm sorry. I guess I kind of just glazed over that like it was totally fine. That sucks to be closeted and not feel like you can be out to your family.
Honestly, I get it. I'm still, like, I haven't told my father. You know, I'm married to a man, so it's one of those things I can, like, low-key avoid for probably the rest of my life.
Straight passing.
I can just get away with it if I
Yeah.
want to, but I feel for you. That's not easy.
Mom's also a chapel liberal. Everything and everyone is a joke unless it makes her uncomfy.
A Chappelle liberal. Like a Dave Chappelle.
Don't. Kind of made me more empathetic to PH. Autism moms, you know, all the pies. Yeah, Discord. Yeah, I'm bi, non-binary, and gray ace. I'm not sure I know what gray ace is. I know what asexual is, like ace, but I don't know what gray specifically is. So if you feel comfortable explaining that, I would be interested to hear it, though we can also just do our own research, because that's like a thing that you can do.
Yeah, I was gonna say how grace and bi overlap is interesting to me. I've never heard of that. Or just ace and bi.
Asexuality versus demisexuality versus like, you know, typical sexuality is like your enthusiasm and like the nature in which you engage with sex as like an act kind of thing. So there are people that are like aromantic or asexual, but you know, normal romantic kind of thing. So they want to have a romantic relationship, but they aren't interested in sex. Or, you know, demisexuality is when you need to have an emotional connection kind of thing. So that's related to just like the intensity of any type of relationship, right? So you can be bi, gay, straight, etc., and just the nature of your sexual relationship to whatever your preferred partner is would be determined by that other scale. It's like one of the dials, so to speak.
I see, that makes sense.
Gray ace basically means significantly less interest in intense necessarily relationship with sex.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I like, people get to determine how they, like, you know, how that identity, what it means to them, so I'm just spouting things that I have read and learned from people that have told me, so, because I'm definitely just typical sexual intensity person. I don't know what you would call a
I would say that you're probably above average, actually.
That's true!
Especially lately.
That's true! Ironically, the least sex I've had in my entire fucking existence, most thirsty. That's not ironic at all. That's completely logical.
That is completely logical.
That's exactly what you would expect.
I was going to say, if you are a very sexually active person and you go without sex for a while, I feel like it builds up, and eventually you're going to, like...
Die?
Just be horny is what I was going to say, but...
Yeah,
you just die, your pussy just explodes, bro.
Yeah, I'm there. Allosexual. Thank you. Okay, cool. Thanks for did not know that. Cool. I once heard someone say that sexual orientation actually has a reason on the brain. What? Is that a typo? A region, maybe? In which case, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, region. Yeah, that makes more sense.
I'm guessing that's what you meant. There is no such thing as a sexuality gene, a sexuality region, a sexuality cell, a sexuality receptor, any of that sort of thing. These are more or less a social construct, right? Though people, like, I don't mean to claim that it's a choice. You know, I like, people are like, I'm born this way. This is like who I truly am, my identity. So don't mistake me for trying to
There actually
that.
is some evidence that it is related to prenatal environment in some ways.
That's gender.
No, sexuality is as well. There is, the more boys that, like, more sons that you have, the more likely that, like, the last son will actually be of, like, gay sexual orientation. I don't know what, I learned that a long time ago.
I thought that one was to do with gender, because that's true. There are like circulating gonadal hormones in say rats and mice will actually change the sex of undetermined or undifferentiated pups. If they're say like one ambiguous sex pup in like a litter of sexually defined females. The chances of that one being turned female or, not turned female.
Well, castration at an extremely early age will, like, literally change their sexual behaviors as well.
Intersex is a thing. Like, we know these things. But, I guess the point is there's no way to eugenics out of it for the extreme people that are like, it's in your blood, it's in your brain, it's in your genes kind of thing. Though it is slightly heritable orientation. There's a heritability aspect to it.
Really?
Yeah. Correlation. Remember, heritability is all about correlation, right? So, like...
Well, it's like the statistic used to be 1 in 10, and now that it's, like, socially acceptable, it's probably gone up to, like, 1 in, 5 at this point?
I think a fifth of North American individuals identify as something other than straight.
Queer, yeah.
So, but, I mean, realistically, all of these things are skewed by social desirability, right? And reporting biases. Like we have zero idea what the actual prevalence of these things are because we don't live in a world where it's like acceptable to report these things accurately, right? It's not necessarily safe everywhere, right? So or even interesting to a lot of people everywhere, right? Like we only just started, scientifically caring, so to speak, relatively recently. People used to think that it was a disorder, and now we're like, okay, no, we need to study this in a different way, and the tone around it's changed. Yeah, so you did mean a region. Yeah, from my knowledge, no. And any research that I've heard around that tends to come from like a very harmful place. Like most of the people that claim that there is research there, or like find little anecdotal case studies that come from a really warped kind of perspective, it doesn't tend to be a source that I would trust and a review process that I would trust.
I was gonna say the amygdala is associated with sexual drive, right? Is one of the areas?
I mean, so the amygdala is associated with a lot of things. I actually just talked about the amygdala on Corey's stream because I did the amygdala paper, right? You were there? No, you weren't.
I watched a bit of
Corey?
it.
Oh, really? Cool. Thanks.
Sean tunes in. So,
that's cute. To Corey's, really. Neat. Cool. Just didn't know that. Anyway, so we were talking about the amygdala yesterday. It's certainly it's involved in what we would call valence, right? So it's the goodness or badness of a thing. And what did you say? What was the word?
I said sexual drive.
Drive. So drive, in so much that you mean motivational drive, is driven almost entirely by dopaminergic stuff, which is somewhere that has a really big association, like a cortical link in terms of synapses and circuits to the amygdala. So in a polysynaptic fashion, it's very much driven by that.
Okay.
Driven, LOL. But functional region specificity is something that I like less and less kind of believe in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like,
well, yeah, everything is like
well, and like the frontal lobe is interacting with all those things too. So maybe is that where you're gay, or is it in your amygdala? Like, you know what I mean?
Am I gay in the front of my brain or the back of it?
I'm gay in all of it. Ayo. You know what I mean, though, right? But canonically speaking, if you ask someone and you were just like not being pedantic about it, which I very much am right now, no, there's not. Is the short answer.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, because the only reason I'm saying is because if we're talking about drive, we're talking about two different spectrums of like asexuality as a drive aspect,
right,
as opposed to orientation.
Like how horny you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So, yeah, that's what sexual drive is. Yeah. How horny you are. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Like I'm wondering. I feel like there is cortical specificity for that. Or sorry.
Yeah.
Subcortical specificity.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I misunderstood the approach here. For the drive thing, yeah, I think
Yeah.
totally. There, we study like sexual deviancy kind of thing not in gay ways. That's not a deviant thing. I'm talking about
Gay sexual not in the gay way. The way you said that was.
because some people would say that to be gay is to be sexually deviant. Some people that are like super anti-gay, which I am not. I just wanted to clarify that is not what I mean. I mean
Actual like sexual
pathologies,
yes.
like you're a sex addict or you have sex with inappropriate targets
Mm-hmm.
or like bad things, content warning, like pedophilia and stuff like that, right? And they study these regions of the brain, and a lot of it's related to addiction, especially when you think about sex addiction, and that's very much excessive drive, right? That's the nature of. So yeah, in that way, 100% there is.
Yeah. How we define ourselves as large choice, the raw unconscious aspects, just in our nature, eugenics out of modern science. Hard to take eugenics out of modern science, especially psychology.
I don't really know what you mean by that. You mean they people that tout eugenics utilize that, like misappropriate it?
Yeah, I was gonna say
is that what you mean?
Some of the predecessors of scientific fields, I don't know, pre-Nazis probably did have eugenic beliefs. So for instance, if you, like, a lot of the ideas around autism for a really long time is that, like, it's a disorder, blah, 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 like, we need to eradicate
I see.
it.
Sterilizing mentally ill people, that's recent that's been stopped in Alberta. In the time I lived there, people were being sterilized.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Which is, like, not incredibly recent, but that means in my lifetime. And as someone just mentioned, I don't look a day over 25, so context,
That's fair flip. So actually, we saw this fucking amazing, we were at the conference we were just at.
I mentioned it.
An EDI presentation by, God, what's her name?
Gaynor, Watson, Creed.
I was gonna mix those three up.
I always want to say Watson Crick.
Watson and Crick. Gaynor and Watson Creed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about how a lot of the ideas around Black people being subhuman or other certain groups being, considered to be, less intelligent, deviant, etc., were perpetuated and sometimes created by doctors, which were the basis of the scientific community for the longest time. You know what I mean? Like, now we have academia, but doctors were academia back in the day, right?
Well, and the example she used about the textbook that they use in all of the accredited medical schools in the Western world, which doesn't necessarily mean they're the best ones, but just, for context, that they're, examples of diseases and aberrant states and stuff like that is based on a 70 kilogram male or something like that. And that it's just implied that default is a white male, right? And she talks about how all of the kind of benchmarks are organized around this really like faulty kind of perspective that is the kind of neutral baseline, which is just not true. And it's led to these problematic statistics about like higher prevalence of schizophrenia or there was a blood disease that she was talking about that one lady was like
sickle cell.
It was sickle cell disorder. Everyone thinks sickle cell disorder is more prevalent in Black individuals, but that's a bad statistic because of its baseline statistics, right? So she actually was like, as a Black woman, she's like, actually, no, that's straight up not true. And it's funny, like, you can tout a lot of, hard stats, inarguable numbers that are just based on bad, data.
Yeah.
Right?
Literally.
So question everything.
Well, and just like cultural bias of the times, right? Like, people thought for a really long time that Black people experience less pain because of the medical community, the scientific community, essentially had created this false narrative in like during slavery times. So 100%, like, when you're talking about like eugenics and stuff like that, we totally understand that is not.
Yeah.
The scientific community has not been kosher for a hot minute, but at the same time, I really do think it's moving in a good, better direction. So you probably have clarified yourself
First
in the
time
chat.
chat.
Yeah.
Hola.
Hello, welcome, Alex.
Hi, I'm Neuralicia.
I'm Layla. Okay, let's go.
Whoa.
We're back up here.
Whoa.
Okay. How we define ourselves as largely choice. We talked about that. If you're ever interested in early queer history, check out Magnus Hirschfeld. I am familiar with that name. Many completely asexual people still masturbate due to physiological factors. Interesting.
Yeah, you can be horny and asexual.
I think it's considered to be a homeostatic
Well,
drive.
kind of.
If I'm
I don't
not
know.
mistaken,
You can't be horny and asexual. Who was I talking to? There was someone that I was talking to recently that was ace or demi or something, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I masturbate for sure."
Mm-hmm.
But it's your relationship with other people,
external, yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's like it's very much about like the interaction, not your physiological drive, which I think is what they're getting at. By the way, bye Joseph, thank you for being here. I appreciate your comments and stuff. I studied psych in college, going to work as a special ed tech thing.
Where? Terms may change in our life philosophy.
Oh yeah, Asperger's got included in the autism spectrum and declassified for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but autism existing isn't inherently, bad. It's only bad because, when we act like neurotypical is.
Wait, say that again?
I said being, like, the term autistic or, like, the concept of autism isn't necessarily bad. I'm not sure I'm understanding there. Anyways.
No, they're saying the term Asperger's syndrome was named after a Nazi scientist. Yeah.
But the terms may change the underlying philosophy, and I'm assuming he's saying the underlying philosophy is bad because of eugenics.
Yeah.
So we think autism is...
But, like, for instance, one of the biggest, not companies, organizations that were about autism, I think it's Autism Speaks, if I'm not mistaken, was, like, about finding a cure for it and blah, blah, blah. And, recently it started to move towards, like, okay, how do we accommodate individuals with autism as opposed to, like, how do we eradicate the disease, like, quote-unquote disease, the condition.
But its existence isn't inherently problematic. It's how we're treating it.
Well, yeah, that's what you're saying. The philosophy is still the same. It's an eradication as opposed to,
Whenever it gets into philosophy, it's like, what part of the philosophy are we talking about? You know what I mean? It just gets like,
yeah.
So, okay,
sorry,
we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I was not quite there.
I want to apologize. I said he a bunch of times, and I'm realizing it's they. I default to he, so. That's
fine. The facts are the facts, kind of BS. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm from Bolivia. Well, hi from Canada. One of those, Bolivia.
The facts are the facts makes me think of the cheese tax song, and I'm done, bro.
One of the best descriptions I've heard for ace people as a whole just aren't horny for sex. Yeah, hey, that's actually a handy way to put it.
This chat, de se que trata esta charla. Okay, so where's this chat coming from? Is that we're in Montreal, Canada.
I speak no Spanish. Help. There's some very good books on the pathology paradigm and neurodiversity paradigm. Yeah, well, so the disease model of mental health is something that's coming under a lot more fire, and like, the categorical versus dimensional, lumping versus splitting. There's a lot of different critiques for a lot of different ways to look at things, right? Like, and there's no really all good one or all bad one. But certainly, I think what you were saying about accommodating neurodivergence versus treating it, it definitely has a flavor difference, to put it in a colloquial sort of way, right? So.
Doug has sought our help with something specific.
Yep. What you want?
He's not,
no problem, I can speak English. Hello, fellow Quebecers. Help the Doug.
I don't know if I got that even remotely correct, Alex.
I'm about to go to Spain, and I'm like, una manzana, yo hablo inglés.
I was like, gonna dig that out after I'm like a 2 drinks in at this point as well. Estamos.
Yeah.
I'll throw my Spanish accent on there.
Café con leche. Gracias.
Estamos en Montreal.
I sent you something in Discord, Alicia. I need a name for her for a Sims challenge. Cute.
Una manzana.
Let's find out. Oh, I was talking to.
You know they actually when I went to Mexico, and I was in like a resort area. I was like in proper like Puebla. They have apple soda. It's called like I want to say it's called like manzanita or something.
Wasn't
like
that the one that you guys got lupus?
No, that's something else. That's Brazilian. It's guarana something or other.
Oh, okay.
But
Guaranita, something
yeah.
like that. Okay.
But no, it is actually so good. It's like sparkling apple juice. It is
That
so
exists.
tasty.
Have you not had sparkling apple juice?
No, bitch. Like what?
So sad. No, bitch.
What is that? Where the fuck is the sparkling apple? Where is this bougie ass apple juice that you're drinking?
It's like the fake champagne that you give to children.
No, that's sparkling grape juice.
You can get
woman.
apple juice.
Can
Okay.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Or you can just pop it in your soda stream. Don't do that. The sugar is
Sick.
bad. Don't
I'll
do
do
it.
it.
Okay, we gotta name this individual. Terry with an I.
Actually, interestingly, I was gonna say Claire, so we're Clary.
Clary with an I. 2 I's. No, bitch. Sparkling apple juice is great, yeah. Help the Doug. Let's practice.
Mhm.
Hola, como están? Yeah.
Did you say hola?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Fucking whatever. Listen.
Ma'am.
So many great
Ma'am.
technologies, sleep shows the effects to benefit autistic people and then corrupted by the ABA applied behavioral analysis known as behavioral engineering. The history of ABA interlinks heavily with the history of gay conversion therapy. Zoinks. Terry Claire, I love it.
Ooh, almost like Terry Mugler. Hot.
Ooh, yeah.
Terry Mugler.
Claire. Hey guys, hey Leah.
Hello,
How's it going?
hi.
Welcome.
Welcome back. Sorry, how are you? Here, that's what Alex asked in Spanish. Estamos bien.
Is bien a thing?
Yeah.
Is it French too? Okay, cool. Yeah, then bien. I'm super bien. Yo.
I'm super bien.
Yo bien. I don't know.
Estoy bien.
Estoy
There
bien.
you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was talking to the woman who speaks Spanish that I used to date today. She taught me how to say that I'm allergic to seafood, so I won't die. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Tengo una alergia de mariscos.
Yeah, mariscos.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So she made it like.
I cannot eat.
No, it's less formal than that. It's like
Mhm.
I'm allergic to. kind of
Okay.
thing.
Alergia, probably. Not alergia. I just pronounced it really bad.
No, she said the G is like an H. She sent
Well,
me a
no, it
voice
was
note,
the
and I was like,
emphasis. The emphasis was wrong.
please still my
Anyways.
heart. 3 years of longing.
I experienced ABA as a child. It was a study and had to practice for my college, which was a whole thing. I won't ramble further.
Oof.
Applied behavioral analysis. Interesting.
Zoinks. I don't even know if I know what applied behavioral analysis is. Hey, guys.
Trying to blunt my best to get over a cold. I feel that Alicia and I, and actually some of our other colleagues, managed to pick up a cold at the conference we were at.
Very well could have been COVID.
And then ended up finding out that 2 people at that conference
That we were
had-
hanging out with. What? Because one of them's Kevin. Not
Oh, really? I didn't know he tested positive.
according to, in the lab meeting.
Oh, we got an email.
Yeah, I know. And
from
I was
the
like, that was
conference.
Kevin.
Bruh.
Apparently. Yeah.
But yeah, apparently people tested positive for COVID. Okay, so then
We probably got
probably
that.
fucking COVID.
Yeah.
Great, love that. Then we hung out with your parents.
Everyone's fine. So, I'm doing all right, trying my best to get over a cold. Where are you from? Same, actually. LOL. Yeah, I mean, do you think that we have a parasocial relationship with Mark Murray? No, because it's a social relationship.
Well,
But
it's social now because I fucking dragged you towards him drunkenly on the dance floor and said, talk to him. But yeah, it was Parasocial before because we would watch him walk around and be like, "We love you."
I can't work for the man. Like, surely not. Can you imagine?
I feel like you'd be desensitized. I've had workplace crushes that have petered out after a while.
No, it's true. I've never petered mine out. Yeah. I don't know what I meant by that.
Yeah,
I just
I
said
don't know
words.
what that. Yeah.
I just
okay.
said words. I don't really know
You
what I
don't
meant.
work directly with him, so you wouldn't. You would only see him on occasion.
Who? Oh, yeah. Never mind. Sorry. I thought you were talking about someone that I had a workplace relationship with. I'm like, no.
Which one are you talking about? Never petered out.
I don't know what I meant by that.
Okay.
I just said. I guess I meant like. I don't have any. There was none to maybe.
There were none to peter.
To
out.
Peter? I don't know.
There
I don't know
were
what
none.
I-
Who's Peter?
Peter.
Peter.
Hi, Peter. Tell us the spicy. What do you mean? What is it you mean for
something to peter
it
out?
fade out?
To fade to.
Yeah, to get more and more episodic and like sporadic, and then
Yeah.
eventually go to nil.
To gradually decline. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, crushes tend to do that though.
Yeah. The more you're exposed to somebody, then you can start to be like, okay, I don't like that
Yeah, you
about
habituate,
them, or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I wonder if I guess you could, would your parasocial crushes on like celebs? Can you think of a celebrity that you like have like a crush on, like an aggressive crush on? Not necessarily a
No.
pathological
When
one.
I
but,
was
like,
when I was like late 16, early 17, something like that, I had that for One Direction specifically.
the whole band.
Well, it was
Oh.
like select members of the band because like, there's hot ones, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Pedro Pascal is like the victim of so much like positive parasocial relationships.
I know.
Like the poor man can barely function. He's everybody's daddy. Everyone's just like, oh, how do you feel about being the internet daddy?
Sexy daddy, or whatever the fuck he says. Oh my god.
I'm your daddy. I'm your cool spicy daddy.
Cool spicy daddy,
Yeah, cool sexy daddy, I think. Anyways, yeah. I love him. Hey, Astro Canuck, I was
Welcome
just
back.
thinking I hadn't seen you in a hot minute because I saw some research about how they're using the brains and bodies of fighter pilots to study brain differences that might happen in space to like astronauts and stuff like that, because there's a
Shit.
huge, way bigger sample size of
Yeah.
people that get like G-force and contained air and stuff like that. Anyway, so I was just thinking about you, buddy. That's all. Welcome. Hi. Hello. How's it going? Sorry, that was kind of like
You
very.
just went ham on that. You're like,
Because it's interesting.
It
I
is
was like,
interesting.
wait,
It is
what happens to your brain in space? Never thought about it. Don't know.
yeah, that's true. Especially, if you have. Well, is the oxygen content the same in the ISS? Like, what do you think that they?
I know so
oxygen
little.
to nitrogen ratio is the same as down on Earth?
I bet you old Astro Canuck here would be able to tell us much more. We do not have a fighter pilot in the chat. We have
Astrophysicist.
I don't know if he said astrophysicist specifically. Astro something. An Astro Canuck, surely.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so Astro Canuck is another science streamer with a little bit more structure to his thing, and to do with astronomy, the stars, the sky, space. And he does Lego stuff too. It's cool.
Sick. Astro Canuck, does anyone ever ask you about astrology, even though you're an astronomer? Do they get those two confused? They must.
I get them verbally confused all the time.
Yeah.
But I know the difference. I just accidentally say the wrong one,
The dumb one.
the dumb one. Yeah. That's for Tim. Who's Tim? Amateur astrophotographer. Physicist. Oh, so many times more verbally confounded. Yeah, that's me. I don't know, the slip. The verbal versus conceptual confusion is fine.
Astro Canuck, what's your sign?
Love it.
Are we star-crossed lovers?
Star-crossed. Who's Tim? Who Tim?
Who's Tim?
I gotta know. We gots to know.
Is Tim the Lego guy? Tim must be the Lego, no?
Oh, there's so much Lego that I obviously haven't been tuning in for long enough to know the insides and outsides of all the sub things. Like if I said Pee Pee Gang, I bet you no one in here would know. what PP Gang's about. Unless, is Muse Clues still here? Hello, Muse?
Yeah, bro. PP Gang was like the first go.
It's a crude character on stream. Okay, well, we love crude content over here at the old Vulgar Science Station, you know. But hey, you know what? That's a good example. I just displayed to you guys parasocial, like, relationship interaction. I mean, I guess, because Astro and I kind of, like, there's reciprocity there. Yeah. But the fact that I'm, like, sitting there reading, like, through neuroscience news stuff, and then I see something like that and think about it, even though I don't really know him at all. Know a little bit about what he streams, you know, like, it's not a lot, but I automatically, like, have positive regard for this person and have built kind of like an identity, you know, relationship around that, right? Like, isn't that kind of like, it's very meta that I just did that and didn't think about it, but there you go.
Honestly, talking about parasociality on a Twitch stream is extremely meta
in
and of itself.
Super meta.
Yeah.
PP Gang represent, yes. You know. When people guess my sign, they usually get it right on like try 7. That's worse than chance.
I was gonna
that's
say,
worse.
I was like,
oh, no, wait, that's not worse than chance.
Well, 6
that's
out
more.
of 6
That's
out of 12.
more than but 50-50 on 1 out of 12.
So it's worse than chance. 7 out of 12 as opposed to 6 out of 12. I'm gonna guess Virgo. I just have that feeling. Virgo or Libra. I don't know.
I don't know what I would guess. I'm trying to think of what like stereotypical things are and what very little things I know about Astro. Capricorn. Holy shit. I can appreciate the meta at this very moment. How did you guess Virgo?
It's my 6th sense. I'm connected to my 3rd eye.
Love that impression. I love that you're doing impressions now.
Yeah.
Usually it's me doing unhinged like theater kid shit. That happened last 6 years ago. Wow. She's an astrologer.
I am an astrologist.
Is that a thing? Astrologist? Astrologer? I don't know. Whatever.
Astrologer? I don't know. I'm just making things up.
Yeah. Can you guess his rising sign? Fucking put the pedal to the
I
metal
don't
here,
fucking
fucking
know.
Oracle.
Yeah.
Let's go, Oracle Jones.
Oracle Jones.
I don't know. I'm just saying words. It's fun. I see. I can pay you to do a special card reading. You want to guess what my sign is? Leah, I know nothing about you. Genuinely.
I'm gonna go Sagittarius. I'm just making things up.
Hell, I don't know my rising. What the hell is a rising? Rising, people think that it's... I actually don't know what it is in the star thing, but people think that it represents who you present as to the world.
Yeah.
So it's like your first impression is what people say. And your moon is your like emotional private self. Your sun is like kind of your dominant characteristics.
So so essentially what you can do is you can go online and you can enter the place you were born and...
Your body is a dungeon door. Remember? My stupid astrology app tells me the most unhinged shit. And it's my favorite thing to open it up and just see, let's see what unhinged astrological bullshit this thing is trying to peddle at me, because sometimes it's so funny. Like I've shared, it was an early stream, so there's probably like none of the same people that would have heard that, but one of them was your body is a dungeon door, as if that's any sort of like non-nonsense content that's based on, I mean, of course.
I was gonna say, were you on your sex fucking...
No, this is like a year and a half ago. That's why the only... You can justly banish others as you please. And in fact, you may even enjoy it. Girl's got a little kink for fucking kicking people out or whatever. Banishment kink. Fucking, I don't know. What does that have anything to do with anything? Like, y'all know that I like to play around and like have fun, and it's enjoyable sometimes be like, I'm an Aquarius. But hello? What did that even mean? Those are just words. You know? Anyway.
So what you can do is you can go online, you can put in where you were born and what time of day, and then it'll spit out a birth chart. And your rising sign means something, your moon sign means something.
All of the planets mean something.
I was going to say there's a bunch of other signs on there too, but those are the only 2 I ever hear about.
Well, your Venus is how you like to relate to other people.
So it's literally just like, it's making the concept of astrology and the sign that you have even more vague and confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, like if somebody gets your sign wrong, it's because your rising and your moon are different.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Or like, oh, your compatibility, you're like with someone that's like 0 compatibility. Well, your whole chart, you know, it's your compatibility isn't just this. It's your whole chart. Moon people got you.
Moonbeam.
Moonbeam, yeah. So my character can cast Moonbeam in D&D, and then one time I just said it foolishly with my voice, like I do, like you guys are familiar with, and sometimes it goes unnoticed when I do dumb shit, and then that one just kind of really stuck. Who are you, and who is so wise in the way of science? I think the average person's thoughts of the Virgo archetype are so different from my apparent personality that a random guess becomes more likely to be correct. And no, they're living on Venus Astro, obviously. Mine is currently all possibilities are equally fantastical and mundane. That's not even trying to be applicable to a person. That's just saying things. Like, this is a phone. I wouldn't be surprised if I opened it up one day and was like, you're reading this on your phone. Boom, Aquarius, what? Like, what?
Screaming. You might enjoy banning people from your life.
Banish.
Banish, excuse me. 0, high key, I love MBTI. 100%. I was like, when I was in university, I was like, I'm an INTJ for days. This is why.
Are you an INTJ? Is that true?
Yeah,
is that what the
it's
thing
probably changed a bit. I feel like it's changeable. But I was an INTJ because I really hated people, and I am very smart and also very difficult. It's the personality actually that is most associated with villains in like media essentially. So yeah, it's actually very difficult to find partners. Apparently, that's one of the characteristics of being INTJ, which did ring.
Well, you know I have a villain kink, so
it did ring.
Step right up.
I'm done with you.
Banished. I'm an
but yeah.
E.
You want to know MBTI?
ENFJ? ENFJ? I'm whatever Dumbledore is, apparently. That was the fact that I got.
That tracks, yeah.
That I'm Dumbledore?
No, that you're ENFJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what they stand for because I think that they're as nonsense or as like,
so exactly.
As astrology.
MBTI actually is like, because it doesn't view things as a spectrum, right? Because nobody's like an introvert or an extrovert. There's a lot of there's a spectrum there, 100%. Mm-hmm. It is actually also highly inaccurate and also just completely made up. I think Carl Jung just made that shit up and did not have any scientific basis for it whatsoever.
He made it up based on fictional archetypes from classical literature.
100%. Yeah.
I always feel this and tell me it doesn't feel like there's still some water in there. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just very weighty.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. So I'm always like, oh, there's a bit more. And then it's super not. Anyways,
This is phone. This is phone.
Hello?
This is water bottle.
Hello, yes, this is dog.
Me saying moonbathe in The Sims and fighting the urge not to say it is moonbathe.
Hot take, MBTI is astrology for geeks. 100% it is. It's people that want to indulge in astrology and have the fun of playing around with astrology but don't want the social shame of it, so they glom onto that.
Psychology and
logic. Talk about being star thing. It doesn't harm anybody.
I was gonna say, I think for me, there's actual tests you can take, right? That will get. So it's not just based on your birth date. It's you take a test and then it puts you on a quote unquote spectrum. It's technically a binary, and it puts you into classifications. And then the 16 different classifications kind of match you better than just, oh yeah, you were born in
I don't know what's more factual than the day you were born. You know?
Yeah, but that doesn't dictate how you, other than the fact that people who are born in winter are more likely to have depression. That's not gonna dictate your personality.
In Canada, you're a better hockey player typically if you're born in January because you play with harder you're the youngest of the league level that you're allowed to play in the age bandwidth, so you end up playing against more difficult players. and thus get better. The Gretzky effect.
Interesting.
But that's just that's exposure. That's not because you're an Aquarius.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
This is a phone. The
Talking
type.
about engrams now.
Oh, enneagrams, enneagrams, engrams. I don't know. Is it engrams or enneagrams? Jungian.
Dumbledore
Yeah.
doesn't look a day over 25.
Tell me about it. I cut my beard, but you know. I would look amazing in some like spangled robes. Can you just imagine her
hi,
sweeping
Tina.
about? I want a cape. I want a cape desperately. Someone.
We have a cape. Would you like a cape?
Are you gonna be my cape daddy?
I'm gonna go dig this cape out now just for funsies.
All right, guys, it's cape time. You can just. Oh, it's in here. Oh, it's gold, you guys. Ba-da-da-da-da.
So.
Same as Minerva. Oh, let's get a look at this. Why do you have this? What was this from?
Sean's friends got it for him. It says DM cape.
That's nice. Can I wear this, DM? Can you tell me, is this acceptable? Or am I like, you know, when you put on like the cloak of a sacred, you know? I'm doing it anyway.
You gotta put the hood on too.
Do it. Well, I'll do it in a second. I'm trying to tie this boat.
Do you want help? You got it?
I just want to sit down. I'm old.
Oh, lady.
It's quite nice. Flowy. But we're behind. Jungian. I am ESTJ, same as Minerva. Which Dumbledore do you see as a day over 25? Or are you being sarcastic? Hello, dog. This is dog also. Yes. Hello, dog. I'm half cat. If you want to effectively self-analyze via test, take multiples of different design, MTBI, Big 5, Enneagram. So I have a hot take about personality psychology, which is that it's all, you can psychometric basically anything if you have the data, which are really easy to get because people love, look at this. Like, can we?
I love it so much.
Wait,
You're
she's
really
serving
You're
or-
really serving.
Why? Okay, like, oh, this, the fan, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, it's facing the wrong way, but when I walk towards the fan,
Yeah.
this is a moment.
She's
like,
serving
hi.
Oscar statue.
Hi. She's serving
Category.
baked potato realness.
Category is baked potato.
I identify as a potato in a lot of ways.
Oh,
so that's
God.
great. Okay.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I hope it didn't flash the internet. My dress is
Yeah.
pretty short behind.
That's okay.
Oh, guys.
Did you see the little thing on the back of the hood, the tail on the hood?
I did not see the tail of
You'll
it.
see it on VOD, I suppose,
Okay.
after that.
I might not watch that. I might not want to watch that. I ate ice cream for breakfast too, and I'm wearing a clingy dress, so I feel body conscious. I didn't really think about that. I was just living in the moment,
You were-
pure
It was
joy.
amazing. You did a great job.
You know what? No shame.
Modeling the cape.
Mape? I was just gonna say
The
mape. Man cape, I guess. I don't know.
knee cape. You cape.
Me, Mike.
Knee cape, you cape.
This is what happens when we're together at the lab sometimes. We just start me cape, you cape? What? This is a science show. If you can
We are
believe it.
serious scientists.
We are. We hold degrees. Cape daddy. Do
We all
it.
cape for nice cape. Exactly.
Yeah.
Me cape, you cape. We all cape. For gold cape.
Oh, guys. Okay, who should we raid out to, y'all? It's been 3 hours. I have a dog that's been ill for days at home, so I can't
Poor baby.
hang out. Plus, I think ending on
The
cape.
Vibes.
Amazing. Now I want a baked potato, though. Like, I love a baked potato.
There's a place down the street that sells pierogies with like stuff on top, dude. Slap.
Shut up. I don't need to talk about pierogies right now. I love pierogies.
Yeah, you do.
Holy shit. They're so good. All right. Taylor X Live is great. Tell me about Taylor X Live. Are they a science streamer? What are they? Tell me about them.
Oh, Zero Mods. It's Talor. Talor. X.
Oh, we're not logged in? Oh, because we're in a private browser.
Oh yeah, just go to the actual normal
Yeah.
tab.
Open. Where is it?
No, just click on
Oh, I see.
Mozilla.
Oh, it's in the Firefox. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
And we're just not going to share the screen. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
I understand. In a movie over here.
That's his stram.
That's, I'll let you type it this time, and then we'll just like be in there with a fucking magnifying glass waiting to point out your mistakes. I also mauled Talarex, so I'll admit selfishness here. Mahoodles. I like mahoodles. We could do mahoodles. Because I don't want to necessarily, do something that we don't know. Though that is how we found mahoodles.
Yeah.
I was going to rate
we've had-
mahoodles last time.
What is Teller X Live? Or do they do science
Educator
stuff?
on cults, finance cults, and weed. What's a finance cult? I might need to check this out before I can give it a little endorse.
Mm-hmm.
I trust you. I'm sure it's fine, but you wanna go to vetted content. I think mahoodles. What do you guys think? Mahoodles. Capitalism is a finance cult. Okay, yeah, that tracks.
Playing politics.
Playing politics.
Interesting.
Mahoodles. All right, are you guys cool with mahoodles? I read science all the time.
Yeah, I
So I'll just go ahead and leave that.
California Burbs.
California Burbs is actually a really great account. But it's mainly just a camera that birds flit into and out of. It's
see.
not an actual human. So we could. Hello.
Dr. Neurolab?
Dr. Neurolab is someone that I know in my personal life. Actually, they showed up in my last stream and are.
They're live now. Do you want to? I think. Oh no, follow channels for you. Just kidding. Never mind.
Yeah. Anyways, let's do mahoodles.
Sounds good.
Okay. Oh yeah, are you gonna do the outro that you love so much?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I hope that we talked about parasocial relationships enough on our parasocial related stream.
On the parasocial platform.
On our parasocial platform, exactly. So, I'm Layla Shode.
I'm Neuralicia.
And this has been Vulgar Science. Thank you guys for being here.
Happy Cape Day. Okay. I think you have to wait until the thing is going. This really is parasocial century. It's true. Parasocial time is now. Raid now.